Softball player loves them. You gotta have a big plate of them.
They're awesome.
They are awesome with a little marinara. If you guys haven't had toasted Ravs, St. Louis style toasted Ravs, that's pretty good. Now, I will be the first to admit that St. Louis has no fucking idea what to do with pizza.
Hey.
They got this place that everybody loves called Emo's, and they put Provel cheese on their pizza, and it's just absolutely it's
awesome.
Horrifying. It's freaking horrifying.
When I hear Emo's, all I can think of is like a kid in like a black t-shirt, like, hey man, with hair like all in face.
No, it's Emo's with an it's got an eye, so it's that kind of Emo. But
Emo.
It's
Emo
thin
Williams.
pizza like New York, but not greasy like New York.
What's the point? I don't understand.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
the point of cheese is just awesome.
If I want non-greasy pizza, I'll go microwave. Yeah, I can get. You know what a thin pizza with no grease on it's called? A Tombstone.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Red Baron.
Yeah,
hey,
they
Matt,
don't know how
are
to.
you near Washington D.C.? Did you say that once?
Pardon?
No, Matt. Matt, are
What's
you
that?
near Washington D.C.?
I'm in Jersey. I have been to Washington D.C., but I'm in Jersey.
You're up in Jersey. Okay.
Eric lives near Washington D.C. In D.C.
Okay.
Actually.
There's
Jersey.
one of my favorite restaurants in the world is in the D.C. Maryland area. The Hard Times Cafe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess Eric knows it.
I've never heard of it.
Gone there in a long time, but yeah.
Eric, or Les, when we next go, when you next come to New York, we're gonna go to the Dead Rabbit.
Okay.
You have to go through a door, like to the secret speakeasy behind the restaurant.
I like it.
Yeah, one of those in Milwaukee too.
That's
Yeah,
I'm gonna have your organs harvested.
The Safe House you're talking about in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Fantastic spot.
The last bar that Les and I are going to, we're just talking up a storm. We've been drinking for a while, and I realized, man, a lot of dudes at this bar. I guess it's not ladies' night, huh? Weird. Yeah, they're really into us too. They just think we're the funniest two guys ever.
God. It's not hard to do in New York. I've done that more than once. Popped into a place and realized that there was not a ton of ladies in there. So, but
Yeah, like wow. Les was always wearing a suit, so he's attracting wildlife at a much higher clip than I am. I'm all sweaty and like Gollum over in the corner.
I went in to a place that I didn't realize was a gay bar, and I went in there and I sat down and I had a couple of drinks. I was talking with these guys, and they were like, "You do know you're in a gay bar, right?" And I'm like, "Oh, geez, no." I'm straight, and they're like, "We know."
We can tell.
I'm like, all right, well,
our gaydar went when you came in.
Apparently, I don't have any of what they're looking for. So, but everybody was super nice, and I stayed for another drink. I was just shooting the breeze. Nobody was like harassing me or anything. So, who am I say? All right, so Dan, you missed a heck of a session last time.
Yes, so the emails told me.
So there was an incident. Just so you know, Andrew's not going to make it tonight. He's helping his sister get ready to move to Portugal.
Wow.
Which sounds made up, but Andrew's not that kind of guy. So
that would be a lot of work into that lie.
Yeah, that's as lies to get out of a gaming session go. Yeah. That's an odd one.
We're going to ask about Portugal later.
Exactly.
If I want to reference some of the things his character has said lately, I'm just assuming he's in his cabin grinding small children into a paste to see if he can get the flavor just right.
See, that's more Andrew Speed. So I'd be like, oh yeah, kid grinding. I get it. Yeah, just take the night off. But yeah, so Josh decided that he.
Now I'm hoping Matt was talking about his character, not him actually.
Oh, we're talking about his character. I thought we were talking about Andrew himself.
Yeah, as a doc, he was making some very odd statements lately. So I was like,
it's true
that we might want to check him in local systems for war crimes or something that we weren't aware of.
Well, he is a world-class doctor working on a cargo ship. So
there you go.
Did he come from Space Argentina by chance?
No. What's it? What's the guy in Archer?
Right, Krieger,
like Dr. Krieger, Dr. Wagner, Dr. Krieger.
Mm-hmm.
Adds up. But yeah, so Dan, Josh decided that he was going to drop out, and so you find yourselves on the Gin Tonic, heading towards Calgary system.
This crew needs more ladies, so I'm gonna expect all you guys to start recruiting.
There you go.
We got a sausage fest going up in space, and we need some ladies up in here.
Space Sausage Fest. Those are the worst kinds of sausage fest.
Even worse than St. Louis pizza.
Even worse than St. Louis. Now I got to open Twitter. Sorry, hold on. Space Sausage.
This is the most awake I've been in like 5 sessions, so I feel good.
Worst kind of sausage fest.
What are we drinking tonight?
Golden
start.
tea.
I believe
I'm
we're
drinking seltzer water.
drinking the last pint of Josh's blood is what I think we agreed to. help get rid of the evidence.
I've got so I drank on Friday and drink on Saturday, and tomorrow I work, so I am drinking some delicious Diet Right soda.
Right on.
Ooh. When you need to stay up late on a budget, try Diet Right soda.
Well, it doesn't have any caffeine, but it has one claim to fame, is that it is one of the very few diet sodas that does not use aspartame as a sweetener. So apparently aspartame has reacts to the
neurotoxins.
To the it makes the not the appendix. What the hell is the thing that controls your blood sugars and stuff?
Thyroid.
Diabetics have problems with
Thyroid.
Thyroid?
I don't think it's the thyroid.
Pancreas.
Pancreas. That's it. Who said that?
Ding, 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 50 extra experience points.
I 4 times. I wonder why.
So pancreas, yeah. So apparently aspartame forces the pancreas. The pancreas reacts to aspartame in the same way it does for sugar, except for it's not sugar. So the pancreas apparently shoots a bunch of whatever it shoots into your bloodstream to deal with sugars, and but there's no sugar there, and so you get hungry. So if you're trying to lose weight, aspartame-based sodas are not great because they make you hungrier.
Yeah.
And unless you have tons of willpower, which sadly I do not, you got that's going to be a negative. So I've been drinking.
Also goes bad very quickly. It
does
only
it?
has a shelf life of like 6 months, and when it's past its date, it can be sick.
Really, I did not know that either.
Yeah,
So
they
you mean
discovered that because they shipped a bunch over to the military that was pretty close to age, and it went bad while they had it, and they had a massive breakout of diarrhea from it.
Ooh, that's bad.
Yeah.
Aspartame diarrhea. That was my band's name in high school.
Diarrhea.
Your band's name sure changes a lot.
I know. I was in several bands. All of them sucked.
I'm still favoriting because I could come in with Ghost Mullet.
Ghost Mullet.
When occasionally Les is flicking his old mullet off his shoulders. Oh yeah, that's the stuff.
So you guys are in jump space, and you have some time to sort of look back on all of the things that happened at Greenport and beforehand on Greenport, and the voyage to Calgary is a little bit quiet. It's a little bit subdued, especially after the incident with the general, and it makes for a long week in jump space as you guys move to Calgary. But you kind of get the opportunity to sort of go over some of the things that happened. And so we'll recap a little bit here. So one, you have a deal with the Spopulem Corporation. I think that's front and center. I think you guys have to remember that. You have a deal with the Spopulem Corporation to get to the bottom of the kidnapping of scientists, not just from Spopulem, but from other corporations as well. And you've learned several things about that. I mean, if anything, the attack on the warehouse in Greenport, where the Ursay were hanging out, there's a lot of curious things going on there. One, it's pretty obvious that the Ursay are basically driving these kidnappings. Now, you're not 100% sure of why, but your suspicion is that it's some sort of they're trying to leverage that has to do with jump space. From your point of view, I mean, and Captain Black, you're a military man. Several of you have military training, I believe. That jump space works the way it does.
That's
Do they?
how this game works.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you can be. I think Weber was a merchant, right?
Merchant Marine. But
Merchant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was a diplomat, working
Diplomat.
for
Okay.
working for the Navy.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, Coffin I know has military experience as well, and I guess the thing is, I mean, what you understand about jump space is that the rules of jump space apply to everyone equally, and without without exception. But if the Ursay have discovered or have done something that alters the rules of jump space, militarily speaking, that can be a huge deal. It could also be a huge deal from the point of view of sort of vaulting the Ursay into prominence as a spacefaring race. Now, we remember, of the spacefaring races, the Ursay come lately. They're relatively recently included in sort of the confederation of spacefaring races, and they've got, generally speaking, they're a little bit behind everybody. Certainly behind the Salamini, the humans, and behind some of the other. Things. And it's created a little bit of a a little bit of a sensitivity. They don't like that position as being the noobs, right?
Right.
And the least powerful and the least technologically proficient. So there's this impetus there, theoretically, that if they are able to discover this sort of new rules of jump space, and can capitalize on it before anybody else can, that could net them a significant windfall. One, in that the Ursay would be taken much more seriously as a spacefaring race by all the other spacefaring races. Two, commercially and militarily, it puts them at an advantage to everyone else. And suddenly, races like the Affront, like the Kzinti, are at their doorstep saying, please sell us this technology so that we can take it against our enemies. So the humans, who have been trying to keep the Affront and the Kzinti from each other's throats, and more or less, doing a moderately incompetent job of it, just due to the fact that the Kzinti and the Affront hate each other so much that the humans stepping in the middle are not going to be able to stop too much.
It's the Israelis and the Palestinians.
Right, exactly. I mean,
Americans showing there, yeah.
yeah, and so it's like, how much, if one of those sides would be able to get some newly improved jump space technology, that suddenly changes the balance of power immensely in that region. And a shooting war, a desultory shooting war between the Kzinti and the Affront suddenly turns into a genocide with that kind of technology.
Mm-hmm.
So you've also encountered some interesting creatures. Not only on Green Perch.
I don't like them.
We'll get to this in a minute, but there are creatures that you have encountered that have come after you in certain cases that exhibit a couple of different characteristics. One, they're unlike any creatures that you've encountered before. Two, fairly dangerous, and to a large extent malevolent. And three, they exhibit from a signals point of view, from a radiation standpoint, they exhibit signals. They don't exhibit life signs in the traditional sense. They exhibit signals that sort of look like jump space technology, hyperdrive technology. Yeah. And they do seem to be able to phase in and out of what we would consider to be terrestrial dimensions. That makes those dangerous. And you've had them on your ship, where they avoided detection to a large extent by Gin, but also you saw a couple of them at Palmer's summer place.
Yeah, right.
You guys were there.
Yeah,
that was your first encounter with these creatures.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, the first time they tried to kill me.
The first time they tried to kill you, and maybe the next time
the doc saved me. Time. Yeah, the doc saved me.
Yeah, so I mean, you have these. And I mean, honestly, it's like it's pieces of a puzzle and no corners, right? You're trying to put these things together. There do seem to be some connections, but at the same time, you're not sure how those connections work out together, right? So inside the Greenpernt Ursay station, you found that there were scientists in deep freeze, and also scientists that were thawed. Oh, somebody's pinging. Who's pinging? Matt sent an imp. Oh, okay. All right, let me take a look at this. I like this. I'm downloading it and saving it, and we're going to use that next week. So I forgot where I was. I was too busy rocking out to aspartame diarrhea. It was weird in the basement of the Ursay warehouse. You had a fully stacked lab, a freezer, a cryogenic unit that had 2 people in it that were in full freeze, plus other scientists that were out. The one guy said, "Don't come in here. You'll release the creature." He was talking about. Now he was talking about that there was a creature in there that was kept in position by some sort of gravitational flux that was keeping it in a sort of frankly, it's some sort of dimensional prison, maybe. That scientist certainly seemed reluctant. He was like, "Don't come in here." Because the place is booby trapped, and he had told you that he had been in there for weeks working on these sort of jump space technologies and things like that. You didn't get a chance to talk to him though, because the Greenpoint police showed up because Weber called them. So they showed up, they began taking things. You guys got hustled before anything could happen. You guys got hustled back to the thing. However, something happened down in that basement because there was an explosion, one that caused a small hull breach in the hull of Greenpoint Station, which was, it wasn't a big deal. They put it together, but it was a significant amount, enough explosion to cause pressure problems. So something went wrong in that laboratory after you guys got pulled out of there.
Yeah,
you're not sure what, but
we don't. Our characters don't know. We know it was gross incompetence and some shenanigans by a GM to blow up all evidence that we just carefully collected.
No, not GM shenanigans. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm over here under arrest, so I was not able to. It wasn't me that blew them up. That's all.
You meant no, it wasn't cheap. It was shenanigans by the GM. It wasn't cheap.
I don't know what you. Anyway, that tells you a couple of things. One, again, it reaffirms that the Ursay are the ones kidnapping these scientists. 2, they were kidnapping them, and at least in part keeping them on ice in Greenpoint until they could transfer them away. Because remember, the first time you had a kidnapping victim, you brought him to Greenpoint, and you were going to sell him to these guys. That was the first time you met Kick Bandiers, the Ursay, and he was in charge of the crew that was buying this guy from the professional kidnapper.
Yeah.
You make it sound like we were actually going to sell them. We were trying to uncover their nefarious ways. We weren't actually going to sell him.
Wait, we weren't selling him?
Sorry, Caravan Guard. We're still not selling slaves.
I will repeat: they weren't Ewok pelts, and they are not slaves.
They're definitely Ewok pelts, but they were not slaves.
Gotcha.
Yep.
At the end there, before you guys out, you realize that the Ursay government at Kukulkan was saying, we want these guys brought here to stand trial for the deaths of several Ursay on Greenpoint Station, and that they were like, we don't trust. The implied message was, we don't trust Greenpoint to deal with these guys in the way they need to be dealt with, and that's when Bill Scaramouche was like, you guys got to get off station, and you need to do it relatively quickly. As you guys were leaving, as Matt pointed out, there was an Ursay ship that was closing the gap, trying to intercept, maybe keep you from reaching the Lagrange point and jumping into sitting in the jump. But you've definitely. So that tells you a couple of things too. One, the Ursay are definitely looking to get rid of you guys, or somehow thing. You saw in Bill Tiefling's apartment, he had on his table where he supposedly committed suicide were dossiers, paper dossiers on each of you. You're not sure what he was given those to do, but I don't. When you find the dossier next to a suicide, and your name is on it, that's not great, generally speaking.
No.
We don't know. We don't know what you're talking about. Those were clearly destroyed by somebody who wasn't us.
Yeah. So so there's that. So obviously the government, the Ursay government, is at the very least is looking the other way on these kidnappings and potentially might be sponsoring them. If they've got some sort of new jump space technology, but they don't have the science to be able to deal with it, they're kidnapping scientists to essentially work on this project for them, so that they can get through. So that might be the motive. And frankly, if you were the Ursay government, there's no reason for you to even if it's a private affair, there's no reason for you to sort of get in the middle of it, because if they do manage to discover something, where are they going to bring it to?
It's yours. Yeah,
it's yours. And there's no downside. They have plausible deniability from the point of view of who's actually committing the crimes, and they have all upside if there is actually a discovery made. So there's that. There are, so that's another group of people that want to kill you, which is nice. But there's a lot of questions here. Where are the other scientists? Because there are more disappearances than just the few scientists that you were able to find. The second question is where is Kick Bandiers, and where is Chimera? You guys didn't put the thing on her either. So now you guys went into Kick Bandiers's offices and were able to locate a ship that I believe Coffin, it was you personally that discovered that there was a ship called the Penny Dreadful, which was which you had noticed had been in places where the disappearances of the of scientists had been. You also noticed that it was in I believe isn't it Calgary Station where Palmer's summer place was? Or that's Remulac, or was it Remulac?
Remulac. I think it was
Remulac.
Okay, so the Penny Dreadful was it was noted to have been in Remulac's system at the same time that that you guys were, and that Palmer's place got hit. So suddenly there's too many coincidences, right? And you also got from Bill Scaramouche that the Penny Dreadful had left the day before you guys left, but they didn't know where. They hadn't filed any flight plans. They didn't make any they didn't make any bones about where they didn't log with Greenport Station where they were going. Right. So they're out there. So we don't. Does that fit in? Was Kick Bandiers on that flight? Was Chimera? Was Kick Bandiers and Chimera? Were they able to link back up and get together? So there's another group of people that want you to. The other thing that you guys don't know is how much you have impacted their operations. Obviously, Greenport is troublesome for them right now. There's going to be, certain people have been arrested. There was a lot of bodies got dropped in Greenport, and so it's pretty hot for you. I mean, you guys aren't in any position to go back there anytime soon. Potentially, it will die off, but Greenport is a no-go zone for you guys right now. It's too hot, but there's a lot of activity out there.
Yeah. Wow. That's a lot.
So that's just one piece. Jesus. So then you have Palmer's Revenge, right? So you guys are headed towards Calgary and then out to Dismal, on the assumption that you're going to meet with an affronter of Palmer's acquaintance, who is going to provide you, or at least sell you, weapons, both shipboard weapons and personal weapons. And according to Palmer, it was whatever you need, my guys will get it for you, and they'll install it. But in exchange, Palmer wants you to get revenge on whoever destroyed his summer house and his AI. His AI Jackie. He was very upset about that. And
okay,
you do know that the Penny Dreadful was there, and now you're on your way to Calgary and then on to Dismal, but you're not sure the only connections that you have been able to make between the two things that you're trying to do is, one, the Penny Dreadful was in Remulak's system at the time when Bill's place was attacked, or when Palmer's place was attacked. So that's one connection. The other connection is you guys fought 2 of those weird multi-phase creatures inside of Palmer's summer house. Now, remember what was happening to you guys when you guys were in there, right? So there were there were claymores. It was the place was trapped. So
yeah, whoever had attacked it laid all these landmine or claymores behind.
Right. So maybe
There, as I recall, Captain Black bravely detonated with his face, right?
Yeah.
this is true. So
I survived all right. I'm fine.
several suits were holed. But so that's, I mean, and the other thing is, so, I mean, if somebody's setting up claymores, is it possible that they planted those creatures there as well? For you guys to encounter, for anybody to encounter, anybody who was to investigating. You later learned from Palmer that the only thing that he could see missing, you guys took video and stuff like that, and of the entire place, was this set of books called the Steiner Library, that dealt with legends associated with multi-dimensional creatures. And it was
that was the book that got taken from Palmer's place, right?
It was a set of books. Yeah, it was like a set of encyclopedias.
Yeah,
it was an assortment of these books.
Loch Ness Monster, interdimensional space creatures. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. So, but that was the only thing missing, and that was, and frankly, there was other things on the ship that would have been valuable to your average everyday raider that were left alone. That was the only thing that was taken. A coincidence? Is there a connection there? Well, potentially. But one thing you also do know is that Kick Bandiers was not in Remulak's system, even though the Penny Dreadful was there. You could demonstrate that the information that you've gotten from Scaramouche basically says Kick Bandiers, at the time you're talking about, Kick Bandiers was on station in Greenberg. So whoever did this to Palmer's place, it wasn't Kick Bandiers.
Do we have any other clues? Palmer, at Palmer's place, we got the Steiner Library. We got claymores. We got creatures. Does Palmer himself have any clues? I mean,
well, I mean, when you talked to him before about it, he had no idea. Now, he was on station when that happened. Remember, you guys pried him out of the safety compartment.
Okay.
And the story he told you was basically like, we're just, sitting around, regular day, nothing out of thing, when suddenly the prox alerts go off from the AI. And it's not only that, but there's a prox alert that suddenly everything is very close, much closer than, I mean, he's like, the prox alerts are set out to go out at like 1/10 of an astronomical unit. This thing was much closer when it finally was discovered. And they just immediately started firing. I mean, no hailing frequencies, no threats, no intimidation. The ship the prox alert went up, and literally moments later, the Bettendorf was getting hit by missiles.
Got it.
By subspace missiles. So and tactically pinpoint targeted subspace missiles. They wanted to flood certain of the areas. They hit the Bettendorf in places that would flood the personnel compartments with vacuum. That's what they were looking to do. So they were looking to kill people.
Jesus.
I mean, the Bettendorf itself was a non-combatant asteroid. It was a hollowed out small asteroid.
Right.
It was a summer home. It was a residence. It wasn't a combat ship. It didn't have any guns on it. There was no way for it to respond in any way. And then, according to Palmer, his guys got him once the missile started to hit. His guys got him into the safety pod, and then he was able to stay. He could not so much here, but I mean, he tried to stay in contact with some of his guys, and it sounded like they were boarded. And one by one, his guys fell to the Raiders.
Ugh. Ugh.
So it was a wipeout.
That's horrible.
The only thing that he would say is the only reason that he wasn't killed was the idea that it's possible that they simply just didn't know he was there. The safety pod is shielded. Normal scanning, it was hidden. Normal scans would not necessarily detect it. But according to him, they weren't on the ship for more than 90 minutes tops. They came in, stole the library, set the claymores, and if they were responsible for
the core,
ejected the core, left the creatures, and departed in 90 minutes.
So they're a pretty well-trained team.
This was executed with military precision.
Did we ever talk to Shamira about the Palmer event? No, we didn't. Okay.
No, I don't know that you at that point when you had Shamira. Well, for most of the time that you guys had Shamira, she was under sedation. It was only when the sedation began to have a negative effect on her overall health and she might die that you guys even bothered to bring her out. Right. And even then, she was in terrible health.
Yeah. Okay. And we assume that Shamira is still back on Green Parent.
I don't know. I mean, so you didn't have any evidence that she had left. You didn't have any evidence that she had stayed. The only thing that you know is that after the battle at Bill's Pub, Kick Bandiers essentially disappeared.
Got it.
Shamira, you did find evidence that Shamira was in a safe house and had done some minor cosmetic changes to sort of avoid being immediately spotted potentially by the local AI. But she was gone by the time you guys got there.
All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. She's gonna kill me.
Maybe. She probably wants to.
Yeah.
But I imagine it's not. I'm guessing that Shamira's anger is probably more like egalitarian than just kill Coffin. She probably wants to kill all of you, as does Kick Bandiers, I'm sure, for ruining his operation. Because you guys essentially did that. They're going to be on the lookout for Kick Bandiers at Greenburn Station, and they're going to take him into custody if he shows his face. So he's probably angry with you for ruining their setup. I mean, they had a sophisticated laboratory setup underneath that warehouse. It's not something we could have set up overnight.
I thought we ice kicked Bandiers. I know we iced a lot of the bears.
You got so you killed, what was the one guy?
It was the G or something, like Growlface or whatever.
I like to think Growlface with a better name than that.
He was part of the Wu-Tang Clan.
Growlface.
Ghazi,
that's it.
Ghazi. So you killed Ghazi, but Kick Bandiers wasn't at the warehouse.
Right. Okay. And then for Shamira, I don't want to have a Cape Fear moment when we find her on the bottom of her spaceship. So I definitely I'm gonna definitely do a thorough search of anywhere she could be, because she got off the ship. She knows how to get in. Yeah. I want to make sure there's no I'm gonna ask Chief Doyle to maybe accompany me. We're gonna search everywhere just to make sure nobody who's not supposed to be on here made the cave. I know we have an AI who can help us out with this, but I want to make sure.
Just from a couple of security notes. At some point, no offense, Jen. I respect and I love you, and I'm just concerned for your health. At some point, I do want to get Jen thoroughly scanned, just for your health, Jen. Love you. And at some point, I would like to do a bow to stern inspection of the whole ship.
Okay.
Yeah, not only electronic but physical.
Yes, sir.
Physical, yeah. You got to walk the ground. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, well, so in jump space, you would. During the jump lasts for a week, so you would have time to do this. I mean, you could spend a whole day, 2 days. The Gin Tonic is not an enormous ship. Right. It's a 200-ton freighter essentially. Mm-hmm. and a lot of the cargo pods. Well, the cargo pods now are empty, and as is the cargo hold, because you guys had to leave Greenprint. You had to forfeit your contracts, but so you're empty now, but you had full tanks. So that which was Scaramouche was.
They're gonna be
happy
filled
to-
with weapons soon, so it's okay.
Yeah, as soon as we get somewhere, I can make some deals. I'm gonna put my deal making cape on and get to work.
Okay.
And also, I would like to for at least myself, I got to get some armor. I mean, I keep getting into shooting fights. I keep getting shot, and so you know, I this last excursion has left Coffin feeling
Naked.
vulnerable, and he's thinking back to his days in the service when he did wear armor in the mobile infantry, and it's time to get some of that gear.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you could say anything about Coffin Doyle, he does have a propensity to collect bullets.
Yeah.
No question there. So, so there is that, and you guys are dealing with sort of the output of those kind of things. But yeah, as far as Tremira, she could still be on Greenprint. She might have gone with wherever Kick Bandiers. Your guess is that she has reunited with Kick Bandiers because it makes sense. She would have, after escaping the Gin and Tonic, she would have sought out her ex-employer, right? And maybe she's one of his trusted guys, and so she would have sought him out because Kick Bandiers is he has ready access to credits, he has safe houses, he has offices, he has ways to get people off station, including himself. So that would have been her out. I mean, who do you go to first? The people that she can't go to the authorities.
Sure.
So who knows? We don't know where she is.
That's fair.
So then so the thing about Palmer is, he's like, I want revenge for the Bettendorf, and in exchange, I will put you in touch with my guy in the Affront who will get you the weapons you need, and it's personal weapons, body armor, essentially. And Weber will explain this to you guys. Is Palmer is much like Weber. Palmer was from the diplomatic corps, but he was also very much used his contacts to sort of set up essentially he's a high-end smuggler. I
envision myself as the Radar O'Reilly end of the business, how we met. Where I'm always wheeling and dealing, but I've worked on the gray side of the street more than once to
get a pizza oven.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So Palmer is like, look, this is my guy who gets me weapons that I transfer, that I sell to. I'll put you in touch with him with my thing. He will get you what you need, but in exchange, I want you to find out who did this to my summer home and get revenge for Jack.
Okay. I like revenge. Revenge is a good thing.
Yeah, and Palmer will tell you that this Affront guy, whose name is, by the way, just so you guys know, his name is Colonel Seventide Habrurid da Grunel. He's a colonel in the Affronter, what's called. So they have different sort of military naming conventions. So he's a colonel in a unit called Sudden Death from Black Sky. Is his unit. And he's also
they open for aspartame diarrhea.
And he's also the commander of a ship called the Metallic Spike to the Eye Stalk, which gives you a little insight into the Affronter personality.
That was the poet that didn't make the inauguration this year.
Yeah, the second chair,
Metallic Spike to the Eye Stalk,
the emergency backup poet, in case
for Amanda Gorman. Yeah.
Can you imagine being the guy who's in charge of finding the emergency backup poet?
Yeah.
Like, where the fuck am I going to find a poet? New Yorker has poetry. Indeed it does. Yeah. All right. So you guys are on your way there. And also, Gin will let you know that you guys got a subspace message right before, just a couple hours before you left Greenprint, and all the excitement. There wasn't a thing. It's from Emix. and it's not a happy message. So if you'll recall, Emix is your contractor for setting up cargo stuff. He's your broker. Now he's based out of Sirius, but he hasn't heard from you for a couple of months, and has it on good authority that you guys have been doing contracts outside of his administration, essentially cutting him out of the deal. So he's got two messages. One, you guys are fired, and two, you owe him 10% on anything that you've freighted
until then, right?
Since the turn of the year, as part of his your contract.
I'm sorry, who did we cut out of the deal?
Emix. So
I don't know who that is, guys.
Forgot all about him.
Remembering that name at all.
I thought we were paying all
We
our
had
bills on time.
a contractor.
He was the guy that got you jobs.
He was the contractor that got us jobs, saying he did the logistic work for us.
I
Go
thought
here,
that
pick up
was me.
this, take it to here, drop this off, pick this up, take it over here.
And for the jobs he set us up for, we gave him the money for it.
Yeah, I don't think we stiffed anybody on any bills. I think we just.
I think he's just saying it's some jobs that he didn't set up for us.
Honestly, I didn't remember that guy existed, so I was taking that. I was taking that onto as myself as my character's.
He's like, you guys aren't allowed to take jobs on your own. I'm your broker. So MX Codex 30 Marilon is your patron and business manager. He is an AI-driven drone. A drone is an autonomous, self-guided AI Sofont with citizenship rights and can act independently and that kind of stuff. With above average intelligence, he's registered as a system citizen of 82 Eridani, but his business is chartered there and in Sirius, and is through, but it's basically he's a member of the Greater Somalmani volume under Terran government. He's an AI drone, kind of looks like four footballs sort of floating together at weird angles and surrounded by hard fields, but is an independent entity with a business base and license. Oh, I'm sorry, not Sirius, UV SETI, specializing in logistics and other systems. You technically, he's like your agent.
Yes, and now I am remembering him. He's the one who got us the gig with the kidnapped scientist in the first place.
Correct.
So all the crap that we're suffering is because of the one gig he got us is the one that almost got us killed. So yeah, I'll take the firing. That's no problem.
Well, he also says you owe him 10% on whatever you've done.
We already gave him his cut. What we made on that deal, we gave him his 10%.
No, on further deals because you were still under contract. He says that's his.
Any further deals we did were to save our lives from trying to get ourselves out from the almost death trap you sent us into.
Hey, look, more sympathetic I could not be. I'm just telling you what your agent says.
I think
I feel you on this. If it was up to me, I would say absolutely. You just waive it and move on with your lives. But he's saying he wants his 10%.
Give us a number what that 10% would be. We could talk about it. But
10% of gross revenue. Well, so here's the thing. He doesn't know what that is.
Only rumor.
Yeah.
So
over the course of the last,
you could have 10% of our cargo on board right now. Oh, right.
Your gross revenue was 3.5 and change mega credits. That's gross. 10% of that is going to be 300 kilocredits. Now you have cash on hand to the tune of like 501 kilocredits.
Let's send an invoice to him.
Yeah, there we go. Damage to the ship because of the stupid project you sent us on. And by the way, does any of that money you just cited, Les, has that got anything to do with the Speculon Corporation? Because
I don't know.
None of that money should be in there because we didn't actually get an actual request to do any work yet.
Oh, you're talking about the 2 mega credits that you got for a reward for the guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is included in here. So it's more like 1.5. So 150 kilocredits. It might be worth it just to pay him off and get clear.
Yeah, I would agree with that, to just pay him off and say, but I also like his idea of sending them an invoice at the same time. And by the way, here's an invoice for the repairs to our ship because you gave us a job that was actually kidnapping a scientist and put us in harm's way. And these were the repairs. Then we can make it 50 kilocredits. or 50K. So then we give them 100 and tell them, and here's the 50K you owe us, and we're good. That's my thought.
Cost of doing business.
Yeah,
He's an immortal. He's an immortal AI. He'll see the wisdom in this.
I've done the same thing with my boss. When he tells me, I owe him like $100, I say, well, what about the damage to my car that I got crashing into something on a job that you sent me on?
Yeah.
Drive better.
It's called space insurance.
All right, so you guys are in jump space, so you can't really send him anything. But if you guys want to, I'm not sure how.
Well, we're gonna let's send him a picture of our collective asses and how we respond.
That's no moon.
Coffin can draft an invoice on Gin and Tonic stationery. Do we have Gin and Tonic stationery?
I'm sure
we're not the kind of group that has.
We can print some up.
Something really flowery with a logo on it,
Yeah.
We do now have spoons that have our logo on the spoon itself.
I like to use Comic Script.
Yeah, send him a thing in Comic Sans.
Yeah, makes it look official.
This is great.
So that's barring other shenanigans. That's kind of where you guys find yourselves as you are jetting towards Calgary.
No, I'm sorry. Are we going to Calgary or Dismal?
I think we're going to both, right?
Go to Calgary first, then to Dismal.
Well, so here's the problem. Dismal and this entire area
we're going to Calgary, and then we're not going to Dismal because that's illegal.
Well, yeah. So this whole area is basically off limits to civilian traffic.
So, but that might be very lucrative to pick up a cargo or two that just happens to be going by Dismal, not stopping in Dismal, of course. But
well, keep in mind that Calgary has very little in system presence that isn't military or related to the military. Right. So and Captain Black, when you guys went there, you guys went to Calgary to visit Captain Black's friend Chopper, who hooked you up with some cryo expertise. But the whole system is essentially a Terran military forward observer position for this war that's going on between the Kzinti and the Affront. Now, let's be honest, space wars are sort of a slow and ponderous kind of thing. It's not like there's a lot of guerrilla warfare going on and stuff like that. What's the old adage that space battles happen by mutual consent? So a lot
like
of
battles at sea.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of the fighting has been on the ground. So there are lots of planets and shit in this area that among these systems that are being fought over. That's really where the war is taking place.
If you ever need a time waster, on Steam there's a game called Gratuitous Space Battles. It's not really much of a game. You just stack as many ships on each side as you want, and you press the button and they just blow the shit out of each other until there's only one side left. And you have no control over them once you hit the go button. But it is rather soothing for a while, just watching a little and like rescue ships being destroyed, and the escape pods being zapped by the fighters. It's quite entertaining. So, like I said, if you need something soothing, Gratuitous Space Battles.
Nice.
I'm always looking for soothing things. This sounds great. Thanks, thanks, Matt.
Sure.
Excellent. Coffin, in his written up bio story, Coffin spent the first half of his career in the mobile infantry, fighting on planets just like Dismal and Loki and Inferno and Forlorn. He got wounded bad, and then he switched to the Navy, where he finally quit service at age 46 as a captain. So these planets in this war-torn territory, in fact, that's where Coffin's not supposed to really talk about it much, but he has spent time on several of these planets.
Right. So Coffin. So Captain Black was more of a shipboard commander, right?
Yeah.
Dan, what was the highest rank that Black met? Was he ever in command of a ship, like a frigate or something like that? if I remember.
he hit captain,
He
but
hit
he
captain.
never actually was in charge of a ship.
Okay.
He was more the equivalent of Space Navy SEALs.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, you guys would have been, I mean, you're familiar with the kind of, sort of how the process of these sort of, frankly, space wars transpire. Again, space is big. Putting two ships in proximity to each other in such a way that you can shoot lasers at each other is in deep space almost never happens. The places where where space battles would traditionally take place would be in system, typically almost in orbit around planets, especially planets that are strategically important. A planet from a defensive standpoint will have ships in orbit above it to protect opposing forces from landing or bombing the sort of like bombing the surface. That's where space battles take place.
Yeah.
Is in systems.
Yeah.
And the same holds true with the Kzinti-Affront War.
Well, but we've been chased enough already that some weaponry might still be valuable.
Yeah.
Just to get away, not as a battle, but just to get them to let us get away.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Understood. So, and it sounds like that there are at least a couple of different potential problems that you guys might have to work out for. Not the least of which is the entirety of the Ursay Navy. They're going to be on the lookout for you.
Yeah,
The good part about that is the Ursay stick pretty close to home. You're unlikely to see an Ursay ship very far from home, and that's in large part why that you guys know why the Ursay use Greenpoint so often as a transshipment point for goods. That's why they have such a large diplomatic corps there. They have a fairly significant population there. It's because a lot of the goods and materials that the Ursay are importing from civilized space are coming through Greenpoint because it's really the only place it can come from to them. It's the closest place.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. All right. So, do we want to see if there is anybody in Calgary who needs something moved to say Loki or Dismal?
We don't want to say that we're going to Dismal. I think we should take a job in Calgary so that it seems like we have a legitimate reason to be there.
Yeah.
But
like if there's somewhere near Dismal, like what is this, Ember or something that we could go to after?
Yeah.
Or what's past Dismal? Is that Ember Lane? What is that thing up on?
Well,
25,
again, that's
27?
in enemy territory, so they may not be
Cymbeline.
with us.
Is it
Yeah.
Cymbeline?
So this is not. So the Affront Kzinti War is taking place here. Right. So you've got you've got the red ones here are the Affront's own systems, essentially. Right. And then below here you have the Kzinti owned systems. And then you essentially have the Terrans who are right here sort of keeping an eye on things because they don't want in this purple area, which is contested space for lack of a better term. They don't want this war spilling out into all of this stuff here. I mean, look how close we are to Terra. This war is close. It's within a single jump of Terra. They do not want this thing breaking out of there. So so that's why there's I mean, you're going to probably see pretty significant Terran military presence at Midway, probably significant at Ember, just to sort of keep an eye on things and make sure that this war doesn't burst its seams and come into civilized space. Right.
So whatever job we pick up here, we want to get it, ideally it would be a job going to Ember or Cymbeline.
Well, Cymbeline and Kagok are so those are both human Terran systems, but they're Terran systems. They are currently fighting with each other. Now, this again is not nearly as vituperative as the Affront Kzinti war, but this is more like a political disagreement. But technically, that's a red zone. But there's still a lot of traffic coming out of Ember to Cymbeline. Tufik systems are rock.
Right. We could still take jobs that would go there.
Yes.
And not show our hand that we're actually going to Dismal.
Correct.
Okay.
These names crack me up, by the way.
Can we take a job that's taken to Hephaestus or Ferris or Midway from Calgary and then just skip over to Dismal and say we got lost?
Yeah, we can do that.
So
any of those, yeah.
So, you know, these are the names that are on this map are sort of colloquial names for those systems. Like Greenpernt system is technically 11 Leonis Minoris.
Sure, I get it.
Is the actual name of the system? It's Leonis. It's basically Leonis Minor.
So they earned these names. This isn't what they got named. It's
these are
kind of miserable places now because of the war.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
yeah, so Dismal, you know, the name is Jickless 58-32 is the technical name for the place. So it's you know, these are colloquial names that you see on.
This reminded me of like the whole Greenland Iceland thing, right? Where the Vikings name.
Yeah, maybe it's this beautiful system. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so one thing that you do know is that while the Kzinti are more or less humanoid in appearance, so you know the Kzinti are essentially 7-foot tiger humanoids.
Yeah.
With a culture that's reminiscent of feudal Japan. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
What were you saying, Eric?
My
What's that?
screen, my screen just started screaming at me. I'm from a tab that's open. I'm not sure which tab. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. We didn't hear anything. I didn't.
I closed it
with a virus.
My one of my tabs just started to shout at me. I think I have quelled it.
Sure was
so
my
sorry.
son. You make screeching sounds over here.
Do you have to restart?
Nope. I think I'm set.
Okay.
I think I'm set. Sorry about that.
So skip back 12 hours. I'm dead asleep, and my son wakes me up from a dead sleep. Dad, wake up! Can I have a Dr. Pepper? And I went, huh? What? And now we never give him caffeine, but I said, yeah, sure. And so it is 12 hours later, and he is literally bouncing off the wall. So he's been exiled from the spirit of my life, as he's like literally.
I think Alex was listening to aspartame diarrhea. So
yeah. Say that in the boys.
Sure.
Come.
I'm not going to go.
Yay, Dr. Pepper.
Fine, I'll vibrate on camera then.
There you go. Come.
X-Men.
I'm technically on camera now.
I see a hand.
Look at he's
That is a rock.
solid as a rock.
Yeah.
But this is the hand I shoot with.
The hand I shoot with, yeah.
There he is.
Anyway, this is a self-inflicted wound over here. Never give a 9-year-old caffeine ever.
Classic X-Men. All right, so as you guys are continuing to sort of move through jump space, questions about, there's a lot of material to sort of like go over. Do you guys have questions, things that you would have tried to find out before you left Greenpernt? I don't know, things like that.
I guess for me, what is our optimal next move? Which of these paths? Which path should we go down? And do these paths all connect as ropes through a ring at some
I'll be right back, guys.
Okay.
I don't know. We have the Palmer thing. We have the kidnapped scientist thing. We have the Emix situation.
Mm-hmm.
I want to stop somewhere. Maybe the Palmer story is the key to this. I want to armor up and get some real guns. I might, and Coffin has been thinking hard about this. It might be time to get some neural lace too.
Wow, this is a change of heart for Coffin. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I was.
Go ahead, please.
No. So I was saying that the Kzinti, while the Kzinti are traditional, from a large part, they are bipedal. They breathe nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide mix. In all, their system, their home world has more or less around. It actually has a little tougher gravity than Earth standard, so that results in them being, physically imposing. The Affront are very different. The Affront are from a gas planet. They are methane breathers. Their home world is primarily methane with certain other gases that would be terrible to breathe. It also is a fairly low temperature. The average temperature on their home planet hovers around 0 degrees Fahrenheit. So it is cold. So that is where they're comfortable in. The problem is that for psychologically, the Kzinti in large part and the Affront are you couldn't tailor make two societies that would be more at odds with each other.
Evidently, they did in Traveler. They tailor-made two of them.
I'm sure I don't know what you're talking about. When I stole these ideas, I didn't have any kind of purpose other than what sounds cool.
So get to Calgary, drop off the general, find a paying gig going somewhere, leave Calgary, and accidentally go to Dismal.
Right. Okay. All right. You know what?
Meet up with our contacts there, get guns and armor and weapons, whatever, for both us and the ship.
Right.
After that, we complete the run we were doing, getting paid for.
Mhm.
And then we, from there, even along the way, we go to our main missions.
Got it. Okay.
I think the one I'd like to do first is the one that speaks to the summer home being attacked and the encyclopedia set missing and those evil creatures that I hate
Sure.
being around.
Sure. Yeah. Agreed.
So those creatures, I mean, they were physically, as Dr. Wagner found on some of the autopsies that you guys did on the creatures that you were the bodies of the creatures that you were able to kill. They were undifferentiated. They were, they no internal organ structure. When you cut open, all they had were sort of this undifferentiated matter inside. There was no organs. There didn't seem to be any sensory organs. It was very strange. According to Dr. Wagner, this is not a creature. This is something else.
Okay. I see. All right then.
That's back.
Okay, so let's head toward Calgary.
Okay.
We're gonna drop off the general.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys drop out of jump space at the Lagrange point in Calgary system, and immediately Gin begins reporting that you guys have been pinged by local AI, military, challenge response questions for Gin, which he have answered, and you have request you have another message from Emix that says where's my money, essentially, and you're also I just want to say you're fired again. He seems a little perturbed, but he's like, where's my money? But you're also you're getting so Jin is getting questioned by the AI, and basically he says to you guys, local military AI is asking why we are in Calgary system. What's our purpose here? What should I tell them?
We're dropping off a passenger, I guess.
I think we should let the general answer that question himself, actually.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So yeah, I mean, I think dropping off a passenger is probably realistic, and that we have General Jazz.
Well, there's a little cargo picking up.
Jazz Engine, who is coming to Calgary aboard us, and we were hoping to pick up any commercial civilian jobs that might be necessary.
Yeah.
And they were like, "We'll put you. All right, your permission granted. Approach the station, and you can offboard your passenger there. Do you have any cargo or anything to declare for here?"
We actually don't.
Okay, well then that makes things easier. So you basically get the coordinates.
We're going to declare.
Basically, you get coordinates to come in, and it's essentially docking codes for Calgary Station. You guys dock Jazz is like, see ya, and he departs with all due haste. Jin says that he's gotten a couple of different requests from. Nope, there's no people there. Most of the civilian docks are pretty automated, so there's not a lot of people here. Several ships in station, none that you recognize, and basically you're saying, look, we will have. Right now, we have a paucity of cargo going outbound. If you wait about 4 standard system days, we should have something open up, and we'll be able to get you some cargo. In the meantime, we have had a diplomatic request from the Ursay government at Kukulkan to interdict your ship. Now, obviously, we are not, diplomatically, we are not in a position to interdict a civilian commercial vessel. However, they have made a formal diplomatic request to the Terran government regarding the crew and the ship Gin Tonic, registered out of. You guys are registered out of Sirius or UV SETI. You guys are registered out of UV SETI.
Yeah.
So they've made a specific thing. We are alerting you to this fact because some systems may be less amenable to the diplomatic niceties here, and may put you under interdict. But the request has been made. And as far as we know from Terran government, we have not heard that there's been any sort of approval. Because if there was, we'd be putting docking clamps on you right now.
Right. And this wasn't gone just Calgary. This was gone out.
This went to Terra.
System-wide.
Yeah, this went to Terra and then came to us afterwards.
Right.
So
it's like wanted posters of the post office, kind of.
Yeah.
When they make a request like that, do they have to give the reason that they've made it?
They did not, in this case, give a reason other than some sort of an incident at Greenpoint was referenced. My understanding is that Terra reached out to Greenpoint and got details on it, but I don't know those details.
Yeah, we're honored to be noticed by Terra, but this is a little kerfluffle over some hurt bear feelings.
Hey, he's like, look, guys, and this is an actual dude on screen. And he's like, look, hey, these things happen. I've been to Greenpoint. I know how it is. So,
I can't Stacey, tell you, right? You can tell me, right, Stacey? Huh?
Stacey, man.
Which Stacey? There's thousands of them there. Basically, it says, look, in my official capacity, I have to notify you that this complaint and request has been logged with Terra. We have not received any orders. Like I said, if we had received a compliance order from Terra, from Systems Command, we'd be clamping locks on you right now. But we have not. So as far as we are concerned, you're a Terran vessel under Terran administration. You're registered out of UV SETI. We have not received any evidence or compelling reason to put essentially Salamini citizens under arrest for based on an Ursay request. We don't have. They provided us no evidence. Right. Now Terra reached out to Greenpoint. I don't know what they told them. Whatever they told them, they didn't CC me on it.
Got it. Okay. 2. Damn.
Okie
dokie. Wow, we really stirred up a hornet's nest there. Yeah.
Take it as a badge of honor, my friend.
Okay, this galaxy isn't as large as I thought it was. Right. Anyway, okay, all right.
Now you are so some of you are ex-military personnel. Obviously, I'm
actually okay with them calling us out like this because. If something to happen to us, it would be easier to point a finger at the Ursay than if they said nothing. If I was really looking to rub us out, I wouldn't say a word. I'd be like, "Oh, what happened to those guys? Space dust? What?"
Yeah, the Ursa basically are playing their hand pretty heavily at this point.
Yeah, and they're basically saying they got their hand slapped and their destroyed. But they're not playing it cool.
The diplomatic equivalent of a car alarm going off. So yeah, not subtle. But but these guys seem to be taking it relatively unseriously. The likelihood is that these kind of things, I mean, how many thousands and thousands of ships are there, back and forth within Salamini space? The likelihood that, the Terran authorities are going to get too bent out of shape over one request, one unspecified request for some crimes that have been committed at a far-flung trading station with a non-human race. Honestly, they're not scrambling the SWAT team on this one.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay, got it.
In the meantime, you guys have access to the library data. Those of you who are civilians can roam freely about the civilian quarters. Those of you who are ex-military have access to certain other areas of a less that outside of civilian. But unless you're active duty military, a lot of Calgary Station is denied to you.
I'm gonna look like for officers' quarter, officers' mess, or whatever that will allow us to have drinks, and look for some jobs maybe that might be either on the legit or maybe on a little shady side. I don't know if I have any personal contacts here, but there's always things that need to get moved around.
Well, so Captain Black actually mustered out at Calgary, if I recall correctly, right?
Yes.
This is where you actually left the Navy.
And I'd probably want to stay out of the officer's mess if I could avoid that.
Well, certainly hanging around the officer's mess and said, "Hey, smuggle something for you." You want to?
Me just walking in probably could turn into a problem. We'll just. Well, I totally, let the diplomat go in, but I'm going to stay out.
So, that there are so you probably, as a civilian, you probably would not be allowed into an active duty officer's mess. Those places would exist inside the areas of Calgary Station that are prohibited to you. However, the civilian area, which is staffed by military people, but caters specifically to civilians coming into Calgary, has restaurants and bars and things like that. Also, the primary cargo business office there as well.
Like the State's TGI Fridays equivalent.
Yeah, it's like a Chili's. It's a Chili's.
Oh, not even a TGI Fridays. We got to deal with Chili's.
Yeah, it's a Chili's. It's a what's the one that went out of business?
Bennigan's.
Bennigan's. It's a Bennigan's.
Some of my first drinks as a 21-year-old are at Bennigan's, thinking I thought I was the royalty sitting at the bar.
Give me your giant margarita, my good man. I'm 21 today. I'll take, what is this, a Cadillac margarita? That sounds perfect. Extra triple sec, sir.
Yeah.
Don't skimp on the triple sec.
Let those fair maidens know at the bar that at the end of the bar that I have a $500 limit on my credit card.
$500 limit. And if they want to come outside and take a look at my Chevy Nova, I just got it waxed, earwaxed, but it's the same principle.
It's earwax.
All right, so you guys are Calgary. The guys coming in were like basically saying, look, we don't have anything going right now. There's a couple of ships in berth right now that are probably hanging around waiting for jobs. His guess was 3 or 4 days. Things will open up a little bit, but just right now there's not a lot of traffic going outbound.
Okay.
And you guys being sort of freelancers, I mean, so the reality is we have a lot of contractors that we use that are primary contractors, right? They're ex-military guys who did not muster out under suspicious circumstances. That guys who work Calgary a lot and have contractual relationships with Calgary that the military trusts for a lot of this stuff. The freelance cargo does exist, but it's usually any excess remaining after all of their normal contractors have been used up.
Right.
So it's not likely to be. I mean, I don't know. You can hang around for 4 days, and I don't know if you'll be able to.
I'll look and see if there's any contacts we can exploit. A friend of a friend kind of thing.
Well, I don't know about anybody else that you guys know here except for, I mean, potentially. I mean, if you want to call in know a guy, but there are certainly, you know, in the civilian quarter, there are certainly bars, restaurants, hotels, other sorts of services.
Those sailor.
I'm going to use the I know a guy feat.
Okay.
I know this general that can get anything.
Yeah, he's a good friend of ours.
I didn't say that.
You call it up and like, hey, General, it's Mehmet Tam. He's like, fuck you. So are you gonna
on a roll on the you have to roll, right? It could go either way, Les, right?
Could go either way.
And I know a guy rolls.
So I mean, you can enact I know a guy here. The reality is that there's a lot in the civilian quarter. You know, there's a lot of, I guess, for lack of a better term, there's a lot of military civilian intermixing, right? A lot of these civilians are ex-military, or providing services to the military, like a civilian contractors would in a normal military base. So there's a lot of back and forth. So if you were trying to find out information about how the war is going, or if there's any, any weird stuff happening or things like that, you could probably get that kind of information depending on how you wanted to go about it.
You're looking for like a Wookiee prostitute. This is a place to hang out.
Well, I mean, it's not as overt as that. They're pretty law and order here, but they also have bigger fish to fry. So yeah, it's not going to be like you probably would see something more along the lines of a red light district where it's more subtle. I mean, they probably don't have a ton of streetwalker action if that's what you're interested in.
Finding a bar, getting a drink, doing a little gambling, and listening a lot for rumors.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, you can do all of those things. So and there are several clubs. So what? Mehmet has got gambling skills, right?
Yes, he does.
All right. So and we had a methodology by way that we.
Yeah, I lose.
You lost 500 credits.
Know when to fold them.
All right. So losing night for Gawker. What about the rest of you? I mean, are you trying to find out things? What are you guys trying to do?
I'm gonna get a meal and some beer, not whiskey yet, just some beer and a meal, and kind of sit at the bar and just chat a bit and just keep my ear open.
Okay, just have a couple of beers and listen to what's going on, kind of thing.
Yep.
So
that's what I'm doing while I'm gambling. So.
Okay, so you do hear a couple of things. One, the Kzinti there have been a couple of pretty aggressive actions on the part of the Affront on some Kzinti areas in Forlorn system, to the extent that the Kzinti have lost some territory on several of the planetoids there. The Kzinti in station are very sensitive about it, and you do occasionally see non-human aliens. Kzinti primarily here. You haven't seen any Affronters. The problem with having intermixing with the Affront is they're very different sort of atmospheric requirements. They have to have you have to have special sort of setups for if you want to entertain Affronters in your home. They're and they always prefer that other people wear suits rather than they wear suits for atmosphere purposes. They're very uncomfortable in Earth gravity and that kind of stuff. So you do see the occasional Kzinti, the occasional Vargar kind of coming around, but it sounds like the Kzintis have taken, just recently have taken a couple of hits, and they're not happy about it. The Kzinti are more diplomatic corps, but they're still quite capable from a fighting standpoint. Although brawling between Kzintis and humans or other non-human aliens is usually over fairly quickly. Yeah. Because they're just so damn tough. Beyond that, you haven't heard. I mean, there's not a lot of. I mean, that's pretty much the news of the day. There, from a trade standpoint, basically the guys that you have talked to about this are basically saying it's just a lull. There's a whole bunch of cargo that came in, but not a lot of cargo that's going out. Calgary's not an exporting system, so there's not much that goes out from here. There's a fair amount that comes in to supply the military, but it also comes from the cluster, mostly, not from Greenport or anything like that. They're saying there's probably going to be some cargoes available, like everybody else saying 3 or 4 days, but they're not going to be huge.
Interesting.
But that's essentially. I mean, other than that, there's not a lot of rumor. There's no talk of like Ursay ships or anything like that. It's kind of weird in that you guys have only a single jump a week's travel away. It's like you're in an entirely I was gonna say an entirely different world. But it really is a much different environment than Greenport. Greenport was kind of loose, very commercially focused. This is very much a military system.
Very military, yeah.
Yeah.
I would think at least the bulk of us are pretty comfortable here. This is a lot of our careers.
Sure, yeah.
We're comfortable with these people, and if we don't know anybody personally, we know how the gig works.
Well, Captain Black knows Chopper and probably knows some other people. If he was going to enact, and I know a guy, he could probably pull that off here pretty easily. But it's pretty quiet.
Yeah. Okay. Well, do we want to move on? Hang around.
So they did give you guys AI access to library information. So like I said, you can send messages, you can download information, you can do searches, that kind of thing.
Did he agree to how we were taking care of that whole Dick situation back in our ex-agent now?
Mix.
I would like to download some invoice templates, and I would like to maybe fool around and Photoshop and make some stationery, and I want to draw up an invoice to submit to Emix.
Okay.
Along with do we pay him half?
No, 10%.
10%.
Oh, of the total? Yeah, so 10%. So of your, technically it would be, hold on a second, 1.53 or 153.2 kilocredits.
I meant, do we pay him half of that? Let's say the rest is for our own expense.
I think once you put together the invoice, whatever you feel comfortable putting in the invoice, take that off of what we're going to pay him.
Gotcha. Okay. With the DM's permission, I will just say I have made it so, and I submit this document to the crew for their review.
Well, Tam will say he's fine with this, but he does have a legal right for full restitution, and if the authorities come after us for that, I'm more worried about that than I am the Ursay, actually.
But I also think he owes us for he's the one who sent us basically to get killed. He did not do his job well.
He did not send us to get killed. However, he did not do a thorough job of vetting the contract. I will give you that.
Which is why he exists. That's why we pay him the money. And he did not do his job. He basically gave us a kidnapped scientist and got us involved in all this espionage, and he's the one who did it. So I don't really feel like I owe him a hell of a lot.
So Emix is on the other end. He's like, "What the hell are you talking about? I got you a contract for the guy and a passenger, and you guys mushed it all up. I didn't put you in position to be spies. What the hell, man?"
But had Emix done his job thoroughly, and we had a safe job that didn't do anything, we really wouldn't be playing this game.
Well, that's a good point. Also, the guy died.
Go here, we drop this off. We go here, we drop that off.
The guy died. That's not Emix's fault. I mean,
right.
As far as Emix was concerned, the guy had a legitimate cargo that he wanted special transport to.
But that's the point. As far as he knows, it was legitimate because he didn't check into it.
Yeah.
We ended up with a kidnapped
Well, it's not like they put
scientist on our
kidnapped
ship.
scientist on the manifest. I mean,
Look, if
Exactly.
he
But he's
quibbles,
supposed to do more than just read the manifest. Why does he get 10% if all he does is read the manifest?
yeah, I'm saying pay him what Eric is saying or what Doyle's saying, and then if he quibbles with us, we're going to report him to the Space Better Business Bureau, SBBB.
No,
We're going to give him a bad rating on.
Yeah, you're only getting 1 star, dude.
Here's another thought
Space Yelp.
that I'm having. I'm trying to evolve as a person. What if we paid him and got back in his good graces and then asked him for more work?
From Greenprint, or from where we are, Calgary.
I will agree to that. I will agree to that only if we say, "Hey, can you give us another one of those kidnapped scientist jobs?" Then I'm totally on board with it.
We could request one.
We could request one. Since you did such a good job with it last time, can you find us another one of those? Because that's been very interesting this last couple.
Let me check.
I'm also wondering if Emix might be a good source of information, and do we? I don't like to squander the money. I don't like the expense. But
Nobody likes paying 10% to the contractor, but
are we stronger with Emix?
No, he's been of no help to us outside of giving us a kidnapped scientist to move around. We've done all the work since then. So the nice thing about paying him is he thinks he's firing us, but doesn't understand we already quit. So whatever. He got us one job, and it was a kidnapped scientist. He's done nothing since then.
You guys never called him back.
we haven't asked him to.
Why would we?
He's an AI.
He's involved in espionage with the first job he sent us on. Well, that's not a real reason. It's like, you go to a restaurant, you get, Ebola virus from eating there, and they go, well, you never came back to eat again. It's like, well, yeah, because you kind of suck as a restaurant.
Now,
Remember that one girl you met in your freshman year in college, and you had that night together, and then like a year and a half later, she's like, you didn't even show up when it was time to meet my parents. You're like, what? What are you talking about? We're not together. It was one night. Like, no, you owe me for the dress and the venue. And like, what?
Now, I'd like to imagine that wasn't our first job together with Emix. We were working together before all this.
Hey, look, we're just pink fleshy things, floating on the void of space. He's an AI. You gotta roll with the punches a little more. Like,
so yes, Eric, if you feel better paying the full amount, let's just be done with it. It's a small amount of money. It's not worth quibbling.
I prefer he gets us another job before we pay him full.
We apologize for not informing you that we had quit or fired you as our manager before, but we might suggest you do a little better job vetting your jobs in the future. And here's your money.
Are we resolved as a group that we no longer wish to do the business with Emix?
I mean, I guess I'd like to know more questions like, is he one of an infinite amount of people out there we can do business with, or is he somebody that if we cross him now, it's going to come back and haunt us later?
Right.
I don't think Emix is going to come back to haunt us later. He does have value as far as finding jobs, but we have been able to find some jobs on our own anyway. So, yeah, I'm okay with breaking the contract,
all right,
paying him what we owe him, and going on.
You know what? I vote we just pay him and go.
All right. 153.25 kilocredits.
That's fine.
Transferred.
Okay.
Via
PayPal.
Venmo.
I am posting a bad Yelp review.
Planetary Pan-Galactic Bank of Terra transfer.
Okay, great.
So
that's fine. Okay.
Okay, cool. So that's taken care of.
I would say if we can leave it open with us, we'll pay him by the job if he wants to give us a job, but no contract.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Smart. Smart. Agreed.
Do you want to go that route?
Yep.
Okay.
So
No,
independent.
I am not taking a job from him ever again.
Well, I would like a job in Calgary. We need to.
very often, but I'm the captain. We had one job with him. That was it.
All right.
And it was this
Fair
much of a catastrophe.
It's
We are
what the
now still
captain
hunted
says,
by the
okay.
NSA because of the one job he gave us. No.
I opened a cargo. It was full of plot hooks. What was I gonna do?
I know.
I can't sell this. All these
He's
plot
got a
hooks are
lot of
ruining my.
cojones. He should
my
be
point A to point-
apologizing to us rather than insisting on money.
We look to find a way to medicate Captain Black when he's not looking to help.
Yeah.
Taper him off a little bit.
Well, I'm
Hit it with
gonna.
a spoon. You were getting hysterical.
All right.
Coffin Doyle approaches you with a bowl of soup. No, I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm
I'm
sorry.
fine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go along with what my captain says. You know, I'm ex-military. I'm used to the chain of command. It's all good.
All good.
All good.
All right. Well, you do get so I guess you guys are just gonna hang out for a couple of days.
Yep.
Might as well. Might as well.
Okay, cool. You guys chip around, and you do get a ping from the business office that say there is some cargo if you guys are still interested. I'm going to say it's the fourth day that you guys are in Calgary. Were you going to gamble or anything anymore?
I'm going to do some more. Yep.
Okay.
Do I have any skills in gambling? I don't think I have any skills in gambling here.
Did you lose again?
One more time.
That's
All
why they
right.
call it gambling.
Wow, 2 natural ones.
Oh my god.
1 and a 3.
Half gambling,
two and a-
you lose that.
There we go.
Ooh, there he goes. He said he doubled down, so you did
Double
win.
down. So I broke even for the whole time.
You broke even for the week. All right. So Palmer, give me a. We're gonna roll on the cargo chart. So you get 1 cargo. That's all you can get. But let's see what it is.
Dancing girls.
I need a D100
From me.
from Weber.
Okay, gotcha.
Sorry, you need a D100. Okay.
Mhm.
I was about to remind you. I have a +2 in carousing. So D100. What am I adding to this bonus? This roll?
Nothing. Straight up.
Buffo.
44.
I'm wearing my 42 right now.
Okay. You're actually going to. So 44 is Beasts of Burden under the live animals category. So this is a transshipment. These are animals from the Kzinti. So this is actually a Kzinti transmission that they brought to Calgary. These are saleable animals for from the Kzinti homeworlds that are being transhipped to Junction. There's go ahead and give me a 2d6 of standard roll.
Sure. 1 second.
14 times 1.8.
Big money. Big money. No money.
Huh?
It's 3d6.
Did you say 46?
2d6.
Everything is 2d6.
And here I am looking at a 14 going, okay, it's a 14. How did he do that? I don't know.
Math was not Les's main subject, yeah.
All right, so it is effectively 20 tons of live animals. So that means a couple of things. One, you're going to have to keep the hold pressurized and with atmosphere. The good part is that the gravitic needs and the atmospheric needs are well within Jin's capability.
Okay. How much food do we have to bring? Or is that included?
Where are they going?
It's included.
Okay.
Where are they going?
They're going to Junction, right here.
Junction.
Oh,
Wait, where's
yeah.
Conjunction? Where's Junction?
I see. Junction.
Right there.
That's close by.
Okay, thank you.
Short
Okay.
trip.
Next to Midway.
Cool.
Junction's Junction's real name is Wolf 359.
Nice. Nice.
The thing about this,
hey, Les, I know a guy that named Locutus in Wolf 359.
Nobody
so the
talks
thing
about
about
Wolf
this is we
359.
actually want to go to Junction next. Then, if we have live animals, because if we go to Dismal, we're gonna have to feed these things the whole time. They're gonna be
We'd
crapping
have
in the
to go to
hole,
Junction first.
huh?
We'd have to go to Junction first if we take the animals.
Right.
Right. For
It's
sure.
fine. Hey, look, we just ponied up a lot of money to pay back a guy we're not even working with. So I think we got to keep.
Well, how much does this job pay?
This job pays. Hold on a second. I have to go to the schedule.
120 kilo credit.
Okay,
How
so
much
it
does
is.
it pay, and how much is it going to cost us?
Yeah.
So it's not going to cost you anything. So the food for the animals is included in the trip,
Okay.
but only 10 days worth,
Right.
which should accomplish
Get
any
there.
any issues. Yeah. Otherwise, these animals are going to start eating each other, and that's not great. The pay is going to be 60 kilocredits.
Fair enough.
So not a ton of money.
I'm gonna see if there's anything else we can pick up. Can I make any more rolls, or that?
That's gonna be it. Yeah, there's just not a lot of material coming out of here.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna see if I know anybody in the old quartermaster corps here that might, need a shipment of scotch moved from a place to place for a friend of a friend. There's nothing on the down low.
No, in fact, the problem is that there's whatever kind of connections that, I mean, you don't really have any connections here in Calgary. So and there's just not a lot of smuggling going on here. Everything is very rigidly controlled. They're pretty serious.
Yeah.
Telling you, the more rigidly controlled it is, the more smuggling is happening. They're just making it look better.
The problem is this isn't a commercial. This system isn't not a commercial venture, right? This is a net importer of materials and goods. They don't. I mean, because it's primarily military. The military doesn't do a lot of exports. In this case, even what you managed to get is something that came out of the Kzinti region, and it just came to here and is getting transshipped elsewhere.
Okay. Fine. So to Junction and then to where?
Well, then now you have to sort of talk about that's true. You never know.
What's that?
In the chat.
You'd have to talk to the captain about that.
Chat of the Zoom meeting, but in Roll20.
I'll roll 20. I'm like, I don't see anything in Zoom.
Professionally licensed.
Yeah,
What kind of a group do you think you're dealing with?
if only we hadn't burned every bridge,
We've burned some. Yeah.
space and otherwise.
Right. Wow.
I think a professionally licensed guy would probably not want to have anything to do with us.
Right.
Talking about we're
Wait, did you
Good at
just
our
say
jobs.
that the Ursay have officially asked Tara to arrest you? No.
Well, and so here's the fun part. Wolf 359 is a heavily populated, high-tech level, important Terran system. I mean, you're within jump 2 of actually Terra.
Yeah.
So yeah, if somebody decides that to take the Ursay seriously, you guys are going to be right there to get picked up. And it's not like you can change the transport. I mean, theoretically you could, but
We're doing that when we go to Dismal.
Yeah, if you guys doing that is not great.
No,
No, getting caught doing it is not great.
Well, so it comes to the idea of like, do you want to actually do this job? Do you want to get that close? It's in the wrong direction. Now
the right next Midway.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you could jump right directly across there. You don't have to.
I say we take the job, go up there, see if there's something more lucrative, and then on our way back we dip over to Dismal.
Here's the problem though. The Gin Tonic is a jump 3 ship. Or I'm sorry, a jump 4 ship.
Jump 4. We can go right to Junction.
Yeah, we go right to Junction.
Ooh, we can't go from Junction to Dismal though.
1, 2, 3.
But we
Yeah,
hit,
you can.
but we can hit midway. Oh, we can.
Can
Okay.
we?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can.
but I mean, but Dismal is one of the home worlds of the one of the home systems of the Affront. You guys aren't exactly expected.
Well, yeah, but that's always been the plan, right? If I'm looking for
Because
something
we're
that's
looking
better,
for
a better.
Palmer's friends, right?
Yeah, we're looking for. I mean, we can find a beard to bring us in there a little more. A little
Yeah,
more
does Palmer
legitimately.
have advice?
Yeah,
Perhaps.
we can connect with Palmer or. I mean, it
You
doesn't
guys,
really pertain to our job as Spoffy Lamb, so I can't think of what we need to ask him about. But we
you
can
guys
say
have
that.
time. You can. I mean, Palmer's, as far as you know, is still at Mirabilis. He's still at Ascensio Station in Mirabilis.
Yeah, we can connect Spoffalam with our with our man in Spoffalam and say this is not related specifically to a job, but we have maybe a lead we want to follow up in Dismal before we proceed.
Can you give us
and
any cover or a reason?
Yeah, cover or rationale why we'd have to be there.
Okay, so you want to reach out to Wen Yamazaki?
Yeah, we seek diplomatic immunity.
Okay, so what I mean, so you're gonna send her a message. She's back at Mirabilis too. So what are you gonna ask? I mean, what do you guys?
Hey, that chick owes us, by the way.
Yeah, you said you did save her life.
Yeah, in a spectacular fashion.
Mhm.
Just say, hey, look, we're following up on some leads. One of them takes us into a front space, and we're looking for any reason, a legitimate reason, or cover that might help us be there for any reason than just poking our nose into things.
All right. She gets back to you several hours later, and it's basically like, we can provide you essentially Spoffulamian credentials. Now, Spoffulam Corporation does not have a lot of dealings with the Affront. However, what we can do is make it so that you guys are essentially contractors, well, not contractors, but Spoffulam employees coming to the Affront to establish some sort of commercial relationship. And that will get you in system anyway.
Yeah, I think that's the best news we heard all day. What do you think, Captain Black?
Like it.
Okay. So let's drop off our space squid cows or whatever off at Calgary, not Calgary, at Junction. See if there's anything to pick up, and then make a jump to Dismal.
Okay.
Good.
See if we can do two for. If nothing else, maybe we can pick up some baubles or something that could be used as I don't know, like a Spoffy Lamb samples.
Right.
Okay. Actually, Wen says that she will try to have stuff there for you, like a
kit.
Like not only it'll be the credentials that you'll install and you'll have Jin install on your transponder, but
hey, this box says Avon on it. What are we taking to the Affront? Mary Kay?
Better than Tupperware.
Yeah, but also what they'll do is they'll have what they call a standard sample pack, which is essentially several tons worth of Spoffulam information and materials that they give to like sales reps kind of thing.
Awesome. Okay. The downside of this, boys, is that we definitely don't want to get burned, harming our ship with the teeth while we're under the diplomatic immunity of Spoffulam, probably, or the credentials. So we don't want to say, hey, we're
plan to get burned, but yes, I agree.
Yeah. We don't need any more space corporations mad at it this week.
Right.
Okay.
I love this plan. I'm excited to be part of it.
All right. So you guys do the jump to Junction. Is that correct?
Junction. What's your function? Yeah.
Okay. So you do the jump to Junction. That takes a week. Anything that you guys are doing during the jump period?
Coffin Doyle is checking, interrogating each of the livestock one by one. see what they know.
Oh yeah.
You know Chimera? Are you Chimera right now?
Oh.
All right, so
torturing livestock is what
interrogating.
Yeah.
You step away for a minute.
Like, what are you doing with that ladle?
Hold on, I got a tweet. I turn away for a minute, and you're interrogating livestock.
That'll
Beautiful.
keep you determined for a minute.
Beautiful. All right. So yeah, you guys pull out a jump space and you're immediately struck. Junction is a huge system. 7 or more terraformed planets, all of which probably a trillion different sophons in population or more. Just an incredibly populous system. Ships everywhere. I mean, it's like the sky is crowded. This is a huge place, and as you get closer to Terra, I mean, probably there's this ring of worlds, right? You've got Prometheus, you've got this Sirius, Terra itself, Barnard Star, UV Ceti. These are all the big Berthas of this region. Wolf 359 is one of them. And so there's just an enormous amount of commercial activity here. You get, you get called immediately after you materialize at the Lagrange point, or pedal out to the Lagrange point, and you guys are hailed. They actually, the contractors are contacted and they reach out to you. You're like, you got our animals? That's great. Oh, that's fantastic. We've been waiting for these Kzinti animals for a while. And they direct you not only to a particular planet, but they're like, can you deliver to the ground? And you're like, not really. Can we offload? Do you have a, Jin basically asks it if they have some sort of, do they have a particular docking system where they can dock a pressurized offload to a system in space? They're like, yeah, we can, but we want to, since you guys can't bring them down to us, we're going to want to split the cost with you on the thing. That's going to be 5 kilocredits off the total bill.
Right. Or we can just launch them one at a time, and they can do it, catch them best as they can.
They'll burn up in the atmosphere. What are you, crazy? That won't work. All right. So they once you agree to the 5 K credits, they're like, okay, we'll gas up and we'll meet you in about 16 hours. Which is a little about, it's the time that it takes for you guys to sort of steam in on regular engines into this place. But everything goes without a hitch. So this would be a place if now I know, Coffin, you have been thinking about getting neural lace installed. Junction would be a good place to get that installed if you wanted to do it right away.
I see. That would probably be an expense that I should bear myself. It would not be a ship-borne expense. Do I know anyone on Junction?
In Junction, I think you guys are. Unless
this is not a military base, right?
This is a civilian system, a big civilian system.
Yeah, I mean,
so
maybe,
unless I don't know if you know a guy here. I mean, so you're.
Hey, well, I do know a guy here. I didn't want to, but only if we're desperate.
These are core systems. So, and you guys are sort of outer systems guys primarily, at least if I recall correctly.
Yeah, like Tamder, sorry, whoever doesn't like to talk about it, but one of his ex-wives, Agnes, lives here.
Agnes, are you going to reach out to Agnes? What does Agnes do?
Well, we met in the Corps, but she's in the old transshipping biz as well. So, but I don't want to. She got remarried, and I definitely don't want to deal with her unless we absolutely are desperate for some cargo.
I probably don't have enough credits for. I got 110,000. I have no clue what the going rate on
about 40 grand here.
Okay, okay.
But it also the installation and recovery and training your brain. You're going to be essentially in knocked out for about a week and a half, and then another 3 or 4 days of sort of like getting used to. It takes a while to get used to.
I see.
Especially someone getting neural lace as an adult.
Right. I should have done this a long time ago. You know what? I don't want to deal with this now. This is a side quest. Right. Let's put this on hold.
Well, if we want me to find some more cargo, I mean, it sounds like there's a lot of places we can check, but I can call up Agnes and see what she got.
Oh yeah, vibrant commercial activity here. It would be a lot easier if you had like an agent of some sort that could broker these things. I mean,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. What if we found a new
Dan's
agent?
not in the picture to yank his chain on, so we have to wait for him to come back.
What if we found a new agent? How do we meet? How do we come into?
Let's say this. Let's say my ex-wife is an agent. That'll be the
Your ex-wife? Oh wow.
Yeah, she charges 20%.
Agnes.
Agnes. Okay, great. Okay.
I like to think of it as we have a Elwood or a Jake Blues kind of relationship. Baby, I'm sorry I'm late. Yeah. I forgot to get my jacket from the dry cleaner, and I couldn't make it. There were space spiders in the way. And
right, the offloading of the animals goes without a hitch. Several technicians handle the entire docking procedure, and between Mehmet and Gin, everything goes off without a hitch. You put your notice out on the local commercial wires, and essentially you get multiple offers for cargoes. In fact, you probably think that you can fill up the ship. There's a lot of activity here.
But we need to
nothing
go the
living
right
because we're
direction.
going to go somewhere else.
Yeah, we nothing living, and we also it would be helpful if it's going the way we want to go. So at least
there's a fair amount headed for Ember.
Okay, that works. So we could jump from Dismal to Ember and close it up.
Yeah,
or Ember to Dismal, depending. So I guess let's. How big is the sample pack we're getting from Spoffy?
It's about 10 tons of material.
And we can hold like 120 tons or something, can't we?
There's also a Spophulum representative boards the ship or asks to be to come aboard. There's actually shuttles out from the planet that you're near, and
I'll run a brush through my hair and put my good Lando cloak on.
Okay. Basically, this guy comes aboard. He's a technician. He's a Spophulam technician based out of Junction, and he says, "Look, I'm here to put on to modify your transponder so that you know all your codes are up to date."
It's an older code, sir, but it checks out. Yeah,
I was just about to let him through.
As long as Captain Black's okay with this, but
he seems to have appropriate Spophulamian credentials.
Wait a minute. He come up to us. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna ask him if he wants some soup.
Well, that'd be nice. I love soup.
Are you hungry? You know what? I have some delicious leftover chicken noodle soup that we had last night. We still have a lot left. The guys loved it. I'm gonna bring you out a nice bowl full. Have a seat. Do you want a beer? Anything? A beer?
He's like, actually, you know what? I have a lot to do. So if you could just point me to the direction of the bridge, and let me talk to your AI. We can get this sorted out within a couple hours.
I thought you wanted to talk to Tam and Captain Black. Like, no, I don't want to talk to those guys. I don't want to talk to the AI.
Humans are bullshit.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
how quickly can we communicate with Gwen?
With when? It takes a couple hours back and forth via. Essentially, what you're doing is you're sending subspace transmissions via. The science is weird, but essentially you're piggybacking audio and video transmissions onto jump space. But in this case, since there's no mass, you can, there's no limit onto how much, like a jump 1 or jump 2. So it takes a couple hours to get a message there and back. It's usually for the distance that we're talking about, 5 or 6 hours.
Okay,
so we would at least ask her.
Yeah,
can you confirm that you sent this guy?
Yeah.
Okay. You do that as he's shuttling out.
Yeah.
Okay. It actually, so you get a message back in about 4.5 hours, and this is one of our guys. We have a large office in Junction, and he's accredited.
Okay.
Stand down with the soup.
All right. All right. Fine. I still offer him some refreshment, but sir, also though, can I please see your credit?
Of course, he pulls out a tablet. Actually, he first tries to send you his credentials via Neural Ace, but you're like, no, I don't do that. And he's like, oh, sorry, and then pulls out a terminal, essentially a portable terminal, and he shows his, this is me.
All right, can I try to perceive if they're real? I don't know. I mean.
It's on a terminal, so I mean, it could be. I mean, it could be falsified. You could ask Gin to coordinate back with the Spofulam office here and see if they, to confirm that they sent a guy.
Yeah, Jen. Okay, sir, you must please forgive my perhaps excessive caution. We've been in a few scrapes. Got some people who maybe don't mean well in our past. I got to ask my colleague Jen to just confirm these credentials with the base computer at Spofulam, please.
No problem. Understand completely.
All right, Jen, can you? Why is Dismal exploding? Jen, can you please check these? Thank you very much.
So Jin says, yeah, I will contact them. He's down for a couple of seconds. He says, yeah, Spofulam Office AI says that they sent this guy out. Time coordinates match. A scan of his shuttle does not show any sort of hazards or anything to us. This is legit.
Does the face match the photos?
Mm-hmm. Yep, sure does.
All right, sir. Thank you. Carry on.
Nobody can know our plans because we don't even really know our plans. So I'm pretty sure that they can't be onto us yet.
From a security standpoint, it's almost foolproof.
60% of the time, it works 100% of the time.
Is there a place also where we can get Jen checked out?
So I mean, again, that's there's a waiting list. I mean, if you're looking to have an AI, a full shakedown AI, that's going to be multiple technicians coming aboard ship. They're going to need to look at both the hardware elements of it and the physical, the biological elements of it.
Okay.
Kind of expensive.
Like roughly
120 kilocredits.
God damn it.
Jesus.
And that's just for the look-see. If they
let me
find
do it.
something wrong, then the repairs have to be ascertained from that point.
It's just that somebody unauthorized got aboard our ship, and they must have done something to the AI to either blank out Shamira's escape or to enable Shamira's escape. I just can't. Jen, I love you, but you got to see where I am. I'm doing my job here. I got to assume that there's something wrong somewhere.
I'm not offended, Security Chief. I understand completely.
Jen, I love you.
Right back at you.
All right. So anyway,
Get a room, you two.
Chief, can I make a suggestion, perhaps?
Physically speaking, I cannot go into a room, sir.
Would
I am the room.
Off spending that level of credits on an upgrade rather than just a maintenance?
Yeah.
The upgrade would come with a maintenance check.
Yeah, they'd have to do a thorough review before they could enact any upgrades. Now, the upgrades would probably be more expensive than that, but it would include that as part of the price.
Right.
Okay.
We're going to have to spend that kind of money. Let's do an upgrade to them.
That makes sense. Sure. But what upgrade options are there? I mean, and
that's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a great question, and one that I don't necessarily have the answer to.
Aha.
I
You
guess
found my weak spot.
Well, I guess gentlemen, what in our wildest dreams do we want in a shipboard AI?
We're going to have to do some minor upgrades to the AI because it's simply not qualified to. If you install a weapon systems or multiple weapon systems on the Gin and Tonic, you're going to need. There's going to have to be at least some moderate upgrades to Gin's capabilities to manage those weapon systems.
Sure.
Because he's just an average cargo ship AI, right? You know, charming yet not. You know, he's not a soldier. So you'll need some weapons of that. If you want to enhance his sensor systems, which seems to be the area where you guys are, you know, you guys are a little worried about him, frankly. But even more, maybe enhance them beyond his current capabilities, so that he can use those from a targeting standpoint with the weapons, or just to, you know, specifically enhance his internal and external systems to look for these guys, these creatures, so that he's better able to discover them. That's another set of upgrades.
Sure.
Down.
Yeah.
Down.
I bet we're talking a real big expense.
I can't lay down. Oh, you were talking to me. Never mind.
Established it.
I was talking to Matt. Go lay down.
Lay down, man.
All right.
Yeah, so I mean, all of that is doable here, but again, it means dry dock.
Right.
You gotta. I mean, you're gonna have to stay here for a while. Junction is an expensive place to vacation.
Yeah, Jesus. Okay.
I mean, because remember, the closer you get to the core systems, and this is, I mean, Junction is pretty much core system.
Yeah.
Your prices go up, your tech level goes up. You know, these are areas where you're not going to get as much for your money.
Okay. Got it.
Maybe your Affronter friend can help you. This guy seems to be.
Maybe we talk to Palmer.
Yeah, maybe we.
This is yeah. You know, let's survey let's find out some other options. I mean, let's make note of this option. It's expensive, but maybe we talk to Palmer.
Do you want to send him a message? It takes just a couple hours to get something back.
Sure.
Palmer, hey, yeah, it's Coffin and the Gin and Tonic crew. We're wondering what you might know about ship AI upgrades. Specifically, we want to be capable of, well, doing some more defensive and sensory tasks with our lovely spaceship.
Okay. So you send that.
Yeah.
4, 5, 6 hours later, you get a message back. These are not real-time messages. Keep in mind. Basically, he's responding to a recorded message that you guys made. But basically, he says, "Look, I think he's like, I understand completely. You know, you want to put some upgrades on there from a defensive and sensory capability. My man Seventide should be able to help you. Now he's going to send you to Tufik to get these things, and he's probably but he's like, but it's legit. Don't worry about it. Even though the place is a backwater, they can do the jobs that you're asking for. If you're not looking to turn your ship into a mind, it'll be okay." And you guys know that mind is a kind of AI, usually controls enormous, oftentimes completely automated starships.
Gotcha.
The kind that doesn't need life forms like us mucking it about.
Right.
Well, right. So there's So mines are the largest, most powerful, and most intelligent AIs.
Mhm.
Most of the largest starships, some inhabited planets, and all orbitals have mines. They're sapient. They're hyper intelligent machines originally built by the Salamini, but they've evolved, redesigned themselves, and become many more times intelligent than their original creation. Mines have become an indispensable part of prevailing society, enabling much of its post-scarcity amenities by planning and automating societal functions, handling day-to-day administration, and they do all this with oftentimes mere fractions of their intellectual power. The main difference between mines and other artificial intelligence is that mines tend to be humanistic and benevolent, both by design and their own culture. So mines have a shared culture of their own. They tend to approach the status of leaders and would likely, in less rational societies, they would likely be considered almost godlike. They are independent thinking beings. They each have their own character, and each of them is legally a Greater Solomony Volume citizen. When an AI gets upgraded or improves itself to the point that it transitions into essentially a sentient being of its own, they have to apply for citizenship essentially, and they become sentient. So like Emix, for example, is a citizen of UV SETI and the Greater Solomony cluster, and is an individual. He wouldn't necessarily be considered a mind. He's a drone. A mind would be a much bigger deal, right?
Okay.
So Emix has the comparative intelligence of a person, right? Is essentially roughly the same level of intelligence, only he's artificial. A mind would be a couple of orders of magnitude more intelligent than a person.
Okay.
An individual person.
Got it.
But luckily, they tend to be both humanistic and benevolent.
Yeah.
But they have their own society too. So minds will oftentimes get together with minds for purposes that no one really understands. The other side of that coin is a lot of current large-scale AIs are designed and built by other AIs, these minds.
Why are we playing these shitty, like, life forms characters? I want to play an AI with powers. That sounds awesome.
Well, they don't go anywhere. They just communicate with each other. They don't
have to go anywhere. They are everywhere.
Sometimes they are ships. So immense. If you have the Gin Tonic is a 200-ton freighter, right?
Yeah.
And has a total gross weight of maybe 300 tons, including the ship itself. A mind-driven ship could be the size of a small planet, and they oftentimes and occasionally they will often be in control of planets. Like they will be the entire government administrative apparatus of a planet.
Oh.
That's their capabilities are that.
Right.
Significant.
Interesting. Okay. Wow.
I want one that's upgraded to run pub trivia every weekend.
Some minds are aggressive. They have personalities. Some are aggressive. Some are calm. Some don't mind mischief. Others simply demonstrate intellectual curiosity. For example, a lot of deep space probes are large mind-driven ships. Sort of Bobiverse kind of stuff.
Got it.
Nice.
Okay.
Have you read the newest Bobiverse?
I have not. I've my Kindle Unlimited is full, so I have to read a couple of books first, but then I'm getting it. But yeah, it just came out like the other day.
Heaven's River, yeah, it's good.
It's good.
Yeah, I only do audibles. I stare at screens all day, so I don't want to read another book. I want to listen. I want somebody else to read to me. But it's good. It goes in a completely different direction than I thought it was going to take. So I thought.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Do the Bobs get into war with each other?
You have to see. I would say there's obviously some darkness, but there's plenty of entertaining light as well.
Okay, good. All right, so you guys want to get involved in some cargo to Ember?
Yes, please.
Okay, so you guys.
What's our cargo capacity? Because I know we have 10 tons of sample Avon Lady boxes.
So your total cargo capacity is 200 tons. Essentially, when they talk about the idea that you guys are a 200-ton freighter, it's not that your ship weighs 200 tons; it's that you can carry 200 tons.
Carry 200 tons, right?
Right. So the way the Gin Tonic is set up is your internal cargo hold holds 50 tons of cargo. And then you have what are called drop pods, essentially, that you can connect. You have moorings for 3 50-ton pods that are like plugged in to the Gin and Tonic, and that you can do that. So yeah, but I mean, for here from Junction, you're gonna have a pretty easy time filling it. You've got about 10 tons of spofulum stuff. So total you'll be able to get is 140 tons. So you want to go to the chart?
No, I do. All right, let me brush my hair, put on the cloak.
I love that you have a Lando Calrissian cloak. That's fantastic.
Yeah. A little shot for courage. All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. Go, Weber.
All right. First thing. So the first thing we need is a D100. So essentially the process is roll a D100 to find out what kind of cargo, another D100 to find out how much cargo, and then I make the calculation to determine what they're willing to pay you for it.
44. Isn't that what I rolled before?
I don't know. It is. So yeah, more live animals, beasts of burden in this case. So they were like, so it's like on Seinfeld when Kramer pretended he had gonorrhea. They were like, the animals that you brought from the Kzintis, we loved what you did with that. So we got more. So yeah, animals, live animals again.
Okay. So now I roll, see how many.
60 in this case, 63 tons of live animals and another 10 tons of food for them. So a total of 73.
So that's 73 plus the 10 we have already on board. That's 83.
And these guys are going to go. Let me look at the calculator. These guys are going to go as high as 110 kilocredits on that.
Is that good? I feel like we got 60 kilocredits for half, like a third as much.
You can negotiate.
Where are we going with this?
Ember.
Will there be
you know what?
somebody?
I don't think we have to. Go ahead.
Will there be somebody to pick up these animals in space?
There you go. Otherwise, we're paying extra, charging extra for.
At Ember, yeah, we can make arrangements. I'll tell you what. Give me a diplomat check to see if you can squeeze a few more bucks. See if you can have him waive the costs of the pickup.
That's something I'm good at there. So all right. So
Cool. Good.
I have so I just add if I have a 1 and I just add a +1.
Yes. 8. They're gonna waive the pickup costs on the other end, but they're not gonna go any higher than 110 on the.
Okay. Let's see what else I can pick up here.
All right.
Special deals today. Going to Ember. Who wants to make deals?
Right.
Who wants to make deals? Plenty of room.
Before you do that, Tam, you made a 12 engineering check.
Yeah.
On thing. Honestly, you run all the standard diagnostics, a couple of the more esoteric diagnostics. I don't know. Do you physically go down and try to inspect the biological element storage chamber?
Yes.
I mean, you can't look at it. But you can inspect the chamber itself, the containment vessel, for cracks or anything like that.
Right, and that's what I'm doing, physical checks, right?
Yeah, everything that you get back seems to indicate that Gin is running perfectly well.
And there's no other pieces in here that are attached that shouldn't be. No piggybacking of
like a chip on the floor kind of thing.
Like a chip on the floor.
No, nothing like that.
Okay.
You have to like suit up to get into Gin's to get into Gin's containment vessel. So it's sealed. It's nothing that anybody would normally be able to get into without special precautions.
Okay.
Gin's all like, "What are you doing, Dave?"
Dave, cut it out, Dave. That tickles. Stop it.
Daisy.
Tam's in there and he's like, "Boy, it's a slippery in here." Well, he slams right into it. I knocked it loose. All right, so you want to, but yeah, according to all of and you've run every diagnostic that you can think of, and actually went down and inspected the chamber. Everything seems to be shipshape. No flaws, no errors. All lights green.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right. Fair enough.
Roll again. Weber. More 44.
Big money, no whammy, big money.
Come on, 44.
Bucks, no chucks.
69, dude.
Nice.
Ooh, that's more bear porn.
It's live bear porn now.
German bear.
Well,
porn,
it's the live animals. These were bears. And the 69 is camera equipment, so that you guys. No, actually, it is repulsor components. So these are repulsor beam components going to Ember. So technical stuff. Go ahead and roll the tonnage.
When I was at Bennigan's, that's what I had on the repulsor components. The ladies were not interested in me. All right, how much?
Even after 2 Cadillac margaritas?
Yeah. 2d6, right?
No, another D100.
D100, sorry.
Look at that tonnage here.
63.
63 tons. So we're going to say 63 tons.
Yeah.
And this is actually so repulsor parts are actually quite good and quite effective. Not only is their insurance good social, but you're dealing with. So they're going to pay 225 kilocredits.
Sweet.
Yes. Excellent, Smithers. All right.
And at this point, you are at 136, 140, 146 tons. So roll one more time. But at 146, you have essentially 54 extra tons.
43. Uh-oh.
43. It's
smaller livestock.
It's smaller livestock. No, in this case, farm parts and accessories. This is going to be Transwift. This is actually headed for Cymbeline eventually, but first stop is Ember. So go ahead and roll the tonnage.
I need a small ton. 9. Oh, look.
9 tons. We'll say 10 tons, but it's not going to pay a lot. This is going to be 8 kilocredits.
All right. That'll. We have big plans for all our money, and that helps us offset our paying off our last booker.
In this case, because of the pressurization that you have to deal with because of the live animals, that's probably going to be as much cargo as you can take.
All right, I'm satisfied. So,
okay.
Nice
anything? Work. Yeah, I don't want to make a side mission to go see Agnes or anything. So I will unless she knows I'm here, I'm out of here.
Okay. She's got like a Google News feed. You know, whenever you show up in system, she's like,
"Oh, son of a bitch!
That son of a bitch." 1340. So total is 343 kilocredits to move 156 tons of material to Ember.
Done.
All right.
That's work.
All right. So it's going to take a day and a half or so to get this stuff loaded. It's got to be shuttled up. But shouldn't be a problem.
I'm gonna find the best case of scotch I can find in system injunction to load that on board.
Yeah.
That's for personal medicinal use.
Okay. Case of scotch, that is going to be 2 kilocredits. Off of your personal. That's good. That's good scotch, though.
Good scotch.
This is actually Terran made.
Damn.
So it's scotch from Scotland, which apparently is a place on Terra.
No way.
Yeah.
Crazy.
If it's not Scottish, it's crap.
It's crap.
I'm also getting ammo for my zip gun. I have a body pistol too, but I believe I still have a zip gun. So I'm gonna and a taser pistol. So I'm gonna make sure everything's all charged up.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. Coffin is gonna replenish ships, stores. Just staples and groceries.
Gotcha. Okay, will do. Basically, that's UMB. So you're gonna get juiced up. And then you are headed to Ember. So one thing, however, Palmer, you are not going to be able to get ammunition. Guns and laser weapons and, frankly, offensive weapons of any type are banned in Junction System.
That's
you're talking 100% against the law.
You said Palmer, but you meant Weber.
Oh, I meant Weber, yeah.
Okay, so I won't get anything then. I was just thinking that it was a more open system. I could go with the old the Army Navy surplus or something.
No. The closer you get to Terra, the less likely you are going to be finding anything weapon related.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't carry weapons. I'm in a church.
Yeah. In fact, even asking has now
red flag. Red flag.
Call the Ursay. We're sending them back. All right. Anything else you guys going to do when you're in Junction? You guys want to go down planet side for a night and just enjoy having real gravity again for a change?
No.
Oh, sure.
Wait.
I want to get a real bar fight in gravity.
And get.
Did Tam get a chance to gamble again?
He can if he wants.
Sure. Hold on.
He did so well last time.
Well, I'm even so far for the night.
How many bookies?
There we go.
Hey, there you go. That's a win. So 500 plus. You're plus 500.
Nice.
I love that you got a macro for this too. That's
awesome.
Know.
I need a bio break. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. All right. So I'm assuming you guys go down. You end up spending the better part of a kilocredit and a half, sort of carousing and just it's nice. It's nice to get off ship. I mean, you guys have spent most of your time on stations. You guys are qualified lifelong spacers, but it's always nice, especially if you were born in a gravity well. It's always nice to let your bones feel real, real gravitics again. The gravity of the shipborne gravitic plates, it's fine. Station, it works, but it doesn't. I mean, it just feels different, right? Real gravity feels different.
Real gravity. All right. Love it. Love it.
But you spend a pleasant night, no brawls. There actually, you make the acquaintance of some non-prostitution ladies. Prostitution is not tolerated in Junction, but you do enjoy some company. I don't know if there's actual intercourse going on. Probably depends on the person, depends on the thing. But yeah, I mean, generally speaking, you spend a pleasant night, get some great food. You actually get food that they're like, look, this isn't ship-made food. They take an animal, they take a baby animal, they feed it until it gets big, and then they kill it and cut it into things, and then you eat it. How crazy is that? It's so wasteful. But they didn't. It's nice. Again, it's a refreshing change from. I mean, all the food you eat is essentially created by the ship from UMB, undifferentiated molecular base in the food makers. So it's like it's just a different taste feeling. But yeah, everything goes well. You don't get any notices from anybody as far as whether or not the Terrans have capitulated to the Ursay. It's been a couple of weeks, and you're about thinking that may have been blown over. So
we're not.
You're not?
No, we're not thinking that.
You should totally think that.
No, we're not thinking that at all.
I'd be thinking like we got away with it. Nothing bad will ever happen to us related to this thing that let's spend so much time talking about.
All right.
I'm sure that was just all flavor text and is meaningless in the greater course of the campaign. All right. So anything you guys want to do in Junction before you head out to Ember?
No.
Okay. All right. You truck out to the range point. They're like, have a nice day. And back into jump space. And you head out to Ember. Place goes uneventful. Emix sends before you leave, you get a very terse thank you note from Emix. He's like, don't call me. If you want another agent, and I know that you guys are wishing you had an agent now, don't call me. You guys are persona non grata, and don't let me see you around UV SETI. Otherwise, well, I don't know what'll happen. Probably nothing. But anyways, it doesn't matter.
I send back a picture of his Uber review.
Worked with Emix on a couple of things. Gave us to a kidnapper. 1 star.
Yeah. I'd much rather pay Weber 10%. Glad he's not in the room right now because I don't want to actually say that. But
hold on, I'm doing this. I'm typing this. It's on Space Yelp. It says worked with Emix on a job. Gave us a kidnapper. 1 star.
Still running from the police now.
Still running from police. Hold on, I'll put that in. Running from police. 1 star. Got it. All right. Tweeted. People are going to be reading this going, the fuck are these guys doing?
What is this?
All right. So you get to, the week passes by. And you guys drop out of space at Ember. Ember is a different system than Junction. It's still considered to be a core system, but it's on the edge of these things. There's a pretty significant military presence here, so you see a lot of military ships, but nothing like Calgary. I mean, Calgary as a system is basically military owned and operated, whereas Ember started out. A lot of these systems started out as emigrations from Terra. Once the jump drive technology was invented, there were a lot of groups of people who were like, "Oh, fuck this, we're out," and went and found new places to live that weren't Earth. Now, this is obviously hundreds of years ago when all of these emigrations take place, but Ember is one of those places. It's actually pretty close to Terra. You can see it's only 4 hexes away. Not as close as Junction, obviously, but Ember is another old system. From the point of view of human population, it's old, but its military component is much newer than the civilian component. So the military is very much like you would normally see. That's sort of like it's off in its own area, of the space volume. It's primarily a civilian system, even though it's close. The military here is essentially to make sure that the Affront don't accidentally interfere in the little dust up between Kagok and Cymbeline.
Okay.
But yeah, you guys get there, and you guys are hailed by AIs. You come in system. The processes are sort of the same. In this case, you do have a subspace message, not from Palmer or anybody, but from somebody. And Jim will say we have a subspace message from an Affront. A member of the Affront named Seven-Tide, I have to check the name. Seven-Tide Habrurid Grunel. Do you want me to read it to you?
That's the backup poet, right? Yeah, bring it.
It's the backup poet. So basically, it's a video audio, and you see essentially this creature. Now, Affronters look very different from humans. Essentially, they are about 11-foot tall floating jellyfish with a variety of dangling tentacles and a big sort of octopus-like beak along the front. In this case, Affronters also love they're almost Latin American in their love for uniforms and awards and decorations. And this one is got. I mean, he's in what Jin will interpret as a military uniform of a ship commander and a colonel. Lots of weird looking medals, lots of metallic looking, sort of braid and things like that. And basically he's like, and it's being translated. You can't understand what he's normally saying. All you hear, the actual audio track is like this click, 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 click of that beak kind of going.
Hey, I'm trying to contact you about your extended warranty.
But he's like, human friends of my friend Palmer, welcome. My understanding is that you are headed to see me on business that Palmer has given you. I look forward to it. Unlike many of my countrymen, my kinsmen, I find humans both amusing and amenable. So I am looking forward to meeting you. Any friend of my human friend Palmer is a human friend of mine.
Okay, great.
However, my understanding is that you are going to come to our home system of Isilor, which is essentially what Dismal is Isilor in their language. Do not come there. I want you to meet me in Hex, the hex that has the A on it, which I can't read the number right now. These stupid maps, I can never understand them. Anyway, I want you to meet me in this hex right here at the coordinates that are attached to the metadata of this message. I look forward to meeting you, human friends. I think we will have a good time. I have some splendid entertainments in mind for you when you arrive and we talk business. For I am a businessman doing business with our human friends. See you soon. Send a message back to tell me when you will be arriving. I look forward to it. I will introduce you to my human friend, my human servants here. And I'm sure that as humans you will have much to talk about. See you very soon.
Okay.
And it's just like snaps off.
It's a trap. He's going to eat us.
No, so
make sure the translation didn't translate as delicious.
Potentially, yeah. It's a cookbook.
We all were thinking the same thing.
It's a deep cut, but we were all there, weren't we? So basically, you don't have to worry about them eating you. They don't digest proteins in the same manner. Not only would that be something that they would find puzzling,
it'll slowly be dissolved over 1,000 years.
Yeah. So basically, you have this very sort of. Well, he seems like a cheerful fella, and he sounds like he's looking forward to meeting you.
He's gonna kill us.
He's gonna kill us. No, he's a businessman. He said he's a businessman who does business with his human business friends.
Oh boy. Okay, let's go in. I'm nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of ruckers, but let's go in.
So basically, he's saying, send a message back and let him know when you're going to meet. And the coordinates are basically, this is the hex, and I'm just going to highlight it here.
Right, yeah.
That he is in. I can't believe that the damn thing is right there. So this is the hex, and essentially the area that he's saying that he wants to meet you is just, it's like out in space, and it's right about.
It's fine.
There.
I don't think that changes anything what we have with Spoffy Lamb's cover, though. I mean, we're still in the front space, and we're a little off course from where we thought we'd be, but I don't think we need to change our plan at all.
Okay.
Cool.
Also, have we made all of our deliveries?
That's what I think we're about to do now in Ember.
Yeah, you guys are going to Ember. That goes well out of Hitch. It's going to take probably 48 hours for them to offload. It's a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Especially
we'll hire somebody to do a deep clean too. Get all that space cow shit off the deck there.
All right, sounds good. And then they if you wanted to, you could take the slice of line down into their gravity well. I mean, there are several planets that are human capable. If you wanted to go back down and enjoy, you're going to be there for a couple of days, so you can enjoy some ground time again if you wanted to do that. You don't have to.
Is there something we know about the front of something they might enjoy as a gift? We can bring him as a little.
So they love weapons. They love any sort of military kind of stuff, anything, accoutrements and things like that. The problem with buying gifts for these guys is that, generally speaking, they're so different from humans that getting them a gift is it's like, what do you buy for the person from a whole different planet?
Actually, what if we get them a Kzinti voodoo doll?
Yeah,
actually, now the head of a Kzinti would go over really well.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go rummage back in my room and find some of my old medals from the service, and I'll present him with one of my old medals to add to his collection.
Okay, that might work. That might be an excellent gift. Yeah. So they love that kind of stuff. So the Affront. I don't know if I talked to you about the Affront all that much. I did post some stuff, but they are very strange.
Yeah, it's the first time I heard about them. I'm remembering anyway.
Okay, so they're essentially.
This will be my next character, though. I'm coming back as an Affronty.
That would be fun. So Affronter Society. So.
He's also going to make us wear suits on the ship.
the phrase that are usually used when in conjunction with the front is hardy but horrible. Progress through pain is an actual saying from the Fronters. Essentially, Affronter Society rests on a huge base of ruthlessly exploited juvenile geldings and a subclass of oppressed females that, unless born to the highest families, and not always then, can count themselves lucky if they were only abused by the males from their own tribe. When an Affronter goes hunting for artificially fattened tree hurdlers, limb croppers, paralyzed, or skin strippers that were their favored prey, they love to hunt. They would use a soar chariot pushed by animals called swiftwings, which lived in a state of perpetual dread, with their nervous systems and pheromone receptors painstakingly tuned to react with increasing levels of dread and the urge to escape as their masters become more and more excited and exude the relevant odors. The animals were artificially and genetically terrified as well, just by the very appearance of the Affront, so driven to ever more desperate maneuvers in their frantic urges to escape. This is what Affronters have done to the terrestrial fauna of their home planets.
Affronters love being the dominant alpha and everything else cowering in front of them.
Correct. They have essentially genetically modified the creatures that they eat so that when they hunt them, they are induced to artificial levels of fear and dread.
So, like,
to tenderize the meat.
If the Vogon came across and were like, dude, you need to chill out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love me some Vogon poetry. All right.
It was clear they were not the happy-go-lucky life and soul of the party grand fellows with a few bad habits they were commonly thought to be. They were not thoughtlessly cruel in the course of seeking to indulge other more benign or pleasures. They were not merely terrible rascals. They gloried first and foremost in their cruelty. Their cruelty was the point. They are not thoughtless. They know they hurt their own kind and others, and they revel in it. It's their purpose. The rest of it, the robust joviality, the blokish vivacity, was all part happy accident and part cunningly exaggerated ploy, the equivalent of an angelic-looking child discovering that a glowing smile will melt the severest adult heart and excuse almost any act, however dreadful.
Wow.
They are terrible creatures.
Oh
They
my
sound
God.
like an awesome uncle to have, though.
But they are merry. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
They do enjoy a good time. So Ember does not entertain affronters with any regularity. So there wouldn't be anything here that probably would cater to them. Honestly, if you could find a Kzinti head, specifically one that you killed yourself, that would be a huge gift. But there's no Kzinti in Ember either.
I will let. What can you turn yourself into? Can you turn yourself into Kzinti over there,
No.
Docker?
And even if I could, I wouldn't do it so you could take
As
my
soon as you chop my head off, it would turn back to its natural form. Okay.
Damn, bad gift.
Keep in mind that the Kzinti and the Affront hate each other so much that if Kzintis or Affronters learn that the other guys are on the same space station, they will actively hunt them down.
Yep.
Both of them do the same.
Got it. So, I mean, we can search for Kzinti body parts while we're here, on Craigslist. But otherwise,
Yeah, good luck.
Craigslist still exists in space.
Yeah.
It's Space Craigslist.
It's Craigslist.
There's Space Yelp. So
And it's the same sketchy stuff, and misconnections are like, you affronter with the head of a Kzinti, me, the shy bear.
All right, but yeah, it takes a couple of days. You guys gonna go down well and enjoy a little real gravity and some steaks.
Sure. Why
I
not?
mean, we got 9 minutes or whatever till end of night, so or whatever it is, 15 minutes. So yeah, I'd do that.
Okay, you get rid of your cargo pretty easily. It goes smoothly. There is some interest as to whether you guys want to reload and head back to Junction. Mostly agricultural products is what they have here.
Is Emberlane, that's in a front town? Or what is
Cymberlane is it is a human system, but the humans in Cymberlane and the humans in Kaguk are at war with each other.
Well, is there something that Ember wants to take to Cymberlane?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. You could probably find them. It's probably not going to be as much as you took out of Junction, but
no livestock, no fatties.
Hey, you're rolling it, not me, man.
No fatties.
No fatties.
We need something that can stay inert as we.
You could get one roll on the table going to Cymbeline.
Okay, Cymbeline. Okay, here we go. I feel good on this one. Show me precious gems.
44.
5
live animals. 5 processed minerals.
Look at that!
Right,
I called a shot.
Roll 100 on the tonnage. 70 tons of processed minerals.
Nice.
Diamond run.
That'll earn you the multiple is 0.8. So 60 kilo credits.
Okay.
Okay. Is there anything for the war Ember at Cymbeline needs? Some hospital supplies.
No, that's gonna be it. That's all they got going.
Okay. All right. So unless we have it, I think I picked out my host gift for our fronty friend. I guess we can have some steaks. So we ship the livestock, and now we're gonna have them butchered and then served to us on a plate, right? Is that basically the plan?
They don't. So yeah, they eat different animals.
Because I named that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially the likelihood of them being. I mean, they just eat different things. So, all right. So, where are you going? Are you going to Cymbeline?
Or no? Gents, are we going to Cymbeline? I think we're going to jump directly to the Affront system, and then make our way to Cymbeline. we need something that has a little bit of a, no particular arrival date that will put us
Right.
out of whack.
Nobody's
I
going to be
agree.
waiting hot to trot for a bunch of processed
units.
minutes.
Yeah,
It's
go
not
down
like
to 24, 29.
Okay, so
okay.
head on to our good for. What, do
All
we
right,
have
I'm assuming you send a message to him beforehand.
Yes, we sent a message. What was it? Give us his name again. I think we want to have a shortcut name to talk to him.
Seven Tide.
Seven Tide. Okay. Yeah, we'll shoot a note out to Seven Tide that we're on our way. And we'll see him.
You can give him
forthwith.
an ETA, yeah. All right, so you guys hit the jump drives, and boom, off you go. Now you're jumping into deep space. So Jin is like, "Are you sure you want to do that?" And they're like, "Yeah."
Okay.
So yeah, so another week passes by. What was the hex number? 2429.
24, 29.
Okay, I got to keep
We
track
want
of all
that
this because
half an A in it.
because your mortgage is piling up after all these weeks of travel. So, all right, you disgorge at the coordinates out of jump space a week later. Poof. And Jin immediately begins scanning the nearby sector for other ships and detects one about 4 astronomical units away. There is a large ship which bears all the signs of being an Affronter vessel. At that distance, it is roughly 40,000 tons in displacement. You guys remember are a 200-ton ship, so this is an enormous ship.
Yeah.
Jin says, "I'm getting subspace messages from the ship. It is declaring itself the Defenestrator, and the system, the coded stuff is coming in a Affronter language, which I'm translating, but I've also got a human voice."
Captain, what are your orders? Should we ram it?
Yeah. Ramming speed.
Would it even notice?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll get the little drum out.
Yeah, no, let's not do that.
Okay.
Ramming speed. So Jin says, basically we're getting a message from somebody called. This is a human who is saying, and I don't have his name here. Hold on a second.
Is it a boy or girl?
It's a man, Stefan Gross, who is reaching out to the Gin and Tonic. Welcome. He says basically, I want to present welcomes from Seven Tide, and he says his whole name: Seven Tide Ha Brurid da Grunel. Colonel, and he goes through this whole long title thing. Colonel of sudden death from the black sky, commander of the metallic spike to the eye stalk, and owner of the Affront starship Defenestrator. Welcomes you to the volume and bids you approach.
Do it.
I think this is our friends.
Okay.
Yep.
So you guys steam in. It takes a couple hours for you to transverse those AUs, but you get there. You begin receiving instructions from the ship's AI saying, our human ship docking is at this port, and you have to kind of like go around. You're going underneath. All of the docking ports are on the bottom, essentially the bottom of the ship. So you kind of go underneath, and then you lift up and dock into it.
And are we wearing suits when we go on the other ship?
Suits will be required. The temperature and atmospheric pressure and content are, Stephen says, are inimical to human life. So you must wear suits. We will provide gravitic boots, boot attachments, so that you may transverse the corridors of the ship. Essentially, what that means is he basically explains to you is like, because Affronters float in their atmosphere, they don't build hallways in the same way we do. They think nothing of going up and down, sideways, that kind of stuff. There's no ladders, that kind of stuff. So what they're doing is they're saying, because your humans are going to be on the Affronter ship, we're going to provide you with a set of these standardized boot things that will allow you to move around, and they're easy to control by neural lace.
Okay.
Or for those of you who do not have neural lace, we have handheld controllers that we can mount to your suit. Sort of like a thing like this.
It's a joystick.
Yeah. So you dock. There's a pressure differential that is accounted for. Gin is like out the inner door is open. Do you guys want me to go ahead and do this? Essentially, you have parked the Gin and Tonic inverted so that your cargo hold lock is connected to the dock. So essentially, you will have to, like, when you go through, you'll have to flip to get into the to sort of. But because of the nature of the Affronter ship, that should be an issue.
Yep.
We're gonna have to for you guys to get there. We're gonna have to flood the lock with the Affronter gas to equalize. We'll seal it behind you. Ginny's like, I'll seal it behind you so we don't pollute our cargo bay atmosphere.
Cool.
All right. You guys go down to the lock. You get your suits on. You get in the lock. You know, the pressure releases all the thing, and then you open up, and you open up into a very strange environment. First, it's foggy. It's hard to see. Your heaters, you can feel the heaters on the suits kind of go tick, 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 as you find yourself in a very chilly environment. It's also a very, for lack of a better term, moist environment, despite the chill. Now, it's obviously not water condensation. It's probably some sort of methane substrates that are condensing on your suit. So immediately you begin.
Freezing point is well below 32.
Well below 32, right? So, so it's a very different environment. It's also not very well lit. So you kind of go in there, and your suit lights come on and that kind of stuff. Welcome to the Affronter ship, the Defenestrator. It's cold, smaller. As you come in, you see what looks to be another human-shaped creature in a suit. His light goes on, and you see his face. He kind of looks like. Hold on, let me do this here. He kind of looks like this. Hold on. I will move you. I haven't got you there yet. Hold on. Okay. Can you see this guy?
I do.
Yeah.
That guy there?
Yeah.
I do not.
I'm looking
Hold
at that.
I see him now.
Unless
Yep.
it's page on
Yep.
I see him.
So that's the face inside the suit. He says, welcome aboard the Defenestrator. My name is Steven. I am your designated human guide while you were on board ship. Colonel Seventide has asked you to be brought to him immediately. So if you will follow me.
Okay, great.
Hey, Les.
Mhm.
Let's go ahead and stop here for the night.
You want to stop here?
Yeah.
Well, it's 3 minutes to midnight.
Well, I mean,
don't
I'm
wanna
just
get into it.
I just want to get you to Seventide.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So
Yep.
as you guys pass through the ship,
Wait, I want to roll for initiative here. I'm going to fire on Steven.
So you guys, you pass through the ship. You pass through the rooms of the ship are enormous and they're tall. So you're used to fairly cramped conditions from a point of view because on a human ship, everything is smaller, right? It's like being on a submarine, right?
Right.
In this case, the rooms are enormous. You can see other creatures. You see other Affronters, but these Affronters are, you know that Affronters are usually between 9 and 11 feet in, from the tips of their tentacles to the top of their gas bag. These are smaller. They're about 6-7 feet. And they look almost invariably as you pass by, many of them look like they are injured. They have scars. A lot of them are missing tentacles. You can see stumps of tentacles where they are. They're not wearing uniforms. They're wearing sort of like these weird kind of Affronter coveralls. Imagine like you put a weird apron on a jellyfish. That's kind of what it looks like. And they're sort of moving from place to place. At one point, you're moving through this room, and Stefan just kind of like keeps moving through. He's just like leading you, and he's paying no attention to this. But at one point, you guys are shocked. You see a creature that looks like, for lack of a better term, a walking. You have ever seen those meat things, those meat spirals that they cut gyros off of in Greek places? Those big spindles of meat.
Yeah.
It looks like a meat spindle with legs, and it's like scuttling across near you, and you see a laser beam come shooting out and hit the thing, pierces through it. It falls over with a smoking hole in it, and you see one of these like littler Affronters come over, sort of scuttle, float over. It grabs it in its tentacles and sort of picks it up and takes it off. You can't see where it's taking it, but it was like within like 5 meters of you guys. There's this laser just goes off and hits this meat thing. You see other creatures as well. Something that looks like a large floating octopus has dozens of limbs. It's definitely not an Affronter though. It's kind of scooting around. You see a smaller sort of insect-looking thing, kind of like a praying mantis, but with a lot more legs. And it's got like a lot of like weird. The only way you would describe it would be like tool belts, and it's got a lot of weird handles and stuff like that. That's all over the place, kind of going through. You see, and another one that looks, frankly, like a walking juniper bush, kind of just like scooting around, and it looks like maybe it's a cleaner of some sort. But these are, what you don't see is robots. These are creatures that are moving around and doing these services.
Wait, I see Tom just arrived. Was he playing Seventide in this?
No, I think he just popped in to see what we were up to.
You guys find any space werewolves dead?
No, not yet. About the time you get, finally, as you're passing through here, it's a very strange sort of thing. You pass through here, you see another creature. This time it looks human, but doesn't look human, and it's breathing the atmosphere, and he looks like this.
Like Cher?
And he's standing. He doesn't look like Cher. He looks like this, and he's standing out in front of him. You look at this guy, and you think that this creature was once human, but has undergone some genetic transformation to try and look more like an Affronter. He's breathing the oxygen, and you can hear him. He says, "The colonel's inside." He says, "Go on in," and he stands aside. He's covered in weapons. He has some sort of uniform on, but it's very different than the one that you saw on Seventide in the video. It's a different color. There's no medals on it, but he does have weapons on him. Several.
Nice. I will compliment his weaponry, bandoliers or whatever, and head on in.
So you come into another room, and it's better lit, and you see that there are several Affronters sort of floating about 10 feet high. They look like they're floating, but they're actually against the wall, and they're actually sort of sitting on these weird sort of U-shaped racks almost. It's like they're lounging, but they're padded, so they're sort of like settled down in these racks, and a couple of them look like they're engaging in some sort of contest. And as you look, you can see that over on the far wall, there's a big, probably 10 foot by 10 foot, like fortified area, and pinned to it with actual spikes that look like to be metal spikes is some sort of animal, and spray painted on the animal is sort of a crude bullseye. And these guys there's two of the Affronters are sort of, you can hear the of their beaks, and it looks like they're betting because they're laying down some sort of, like, it's not paper, but it's like these weird sort of crystalline looking things on a floating table, and they're sort of meeting it. And one guy takes what is obviously a blaster pistol of some kind. And you see him sort of, like, several of his eyes kind of move over, and boom, he shoots, and he takes off like one of the creature's legs. The creature's like, and the other ones are like, you could see the other ones sort of like grab the crystals and pocket them and then put more down, and he takes the pistol. So they're having some sort of contest at shooting this creature. About that time, you hear over your suits, you hear, "Human friends, you've arrived. I'm so glad to see you. The friends of my human friend Palmer have arrived." And you see one of these guys sort of pop off of one of these racks, and there's like a little floating table, and he sets down some sort of like bucket-looking beaker of some sort of liquid that apparently he'd been drinking. And he comes over and floats over to you, and here's what he kind of looks like. And he says, so he kind of looks like that. These are his eyes, and you can see his tentacles sort of hanging down here. He's got several of them, and some of them have flaps. He's wearing a uniform, the same uniform you saw him in. He kind of floats over. He's like, I'm so glad you have arrived. My human friends who have come to do human business with me, I am very pleased. My name is Colonel Seventin Labure de Grunel of the Clan Egric, Family de Grunel, Unit 11. I am Colonel of the Sudden Death from the Black Sky, Commander of the Metallic Spike of the Eye Stalk. And this is my ship, the Defenestrator. What do you think of it, humans?
It's gorgeous.
I will remark it's a magnificent
Very impressive.
vessel of war.
I knew you would like it. Any human friend of Palmer, my human friend Palmer, is a human friend of mine. I am very pleased that we can talk business. But first, I think we should sit, enjoy some of the contests that we are watching, and we can discuss our human business later. Perhaps 3 or 4 weeks from tonight.
Yes.
Beautiful.
I will present him with a medal. This is a small token of our gesture. This is a.
What is this? A human gift?
Yes.
I am intrigued. Please explain to me what it is.
This was given to me at the end of service in my time in the Navy as it's like a palme d'or kind of the gaudiest medal I had in my particular thing.
This is
something with a drop down swingy bobble thing.
This is a soldier's medal that you earned. I am intrigued and appreciative. This is now I can see from your appearance that you do not wear your military awards in the same fashion that we do. This is an intriguing gift. We will talk more about it. I am pleased with my new human friends.
Guys, I'm gonna go. Okay.
Please don't eat us.
All right, we'll stop there. Everybody have a great week, and we will learn more about Colonel Seventide when we return for our next game.
All right.
Nice.
All right. All right. See you guys.
Take care.
All right, I'm gonna stop the share and the recording.
All right, adios.
See you, brother.
Hey Les, how's your gig going?